Yeah, you guys know that.
Well, hello and welcome to the... I don't do impressions. Welcome to the Confused Breakfast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
I do.
It's hard to beat the ease of the modern era and streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your house. But there was something truly special about waiting for your mom to finish having relations with your principal and then heading to Blockbuster, browsing the aisles, picking out a movie by hand, and taking it home to watch. On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. My name is Mike Schulte. Joining me, as always, two dudes who taught me that vacation means when you go somewhere and you don't come back. Sean Pryor and AJ Vance, how the heck are you?
Sounds like a great vacation.
Like he was doomed from the start. If that's the kind of parenting he's getting.
Oh yeah.
Like if we're getting right into it, like that's why people perceive him as dumb, is because everything that he was taught was nothing.
Everything he was taught was dumb.
That's not what vacation means.
No.
Yeah, it's not. That's not in the dictionary like that. It's not the real meaning. Poor kid.
Poor kid.
No.
You know? Poor kid.
Well, boys, on today's episode, we discuss the 11th highest rated movie of all time on IMDb, Robert Zemeckis' highest grossing film to date, and the highest grossing film of 1994 domestically in a year that was absolutely stacked with movies. Winner of 6 Oscars and spending 42 weeks in theaters. We're, of course, talking about 1994's Forrest Gump.
Forrest
Well,
Gump.
dang it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another nostalgic journey to the past with The Confused Breakfast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy wherever you are in the world. Take it away, boys.
We are in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That's where we are in the world, but we hope you're enjoying it. If you are new to the podcast, welcome. What we like to do is
Good.
It's 8 in the morning. This is the earliest we've ever recorded a podcast,
I
guys.
think it is, yeah.
This is the first time you listening to the podcast is the same time we recorded it.
Yeah.
AJ, are you playing golf or are you watching golf? Please tell me you're playing.
Oh, well, I should break this news to you now. It is the Masters this weekend,
Yes,
guys.
it
So you're watching it?
No.
Oh my God.
If I did that to you, thanks for bringing it up on the show. But
Well, no, it's fine because we're coming up on playoff hockey, so our schedule will have to revolve around
absolutely.
that. So.
right.
Anyway, if you're new to the podcast, we're going to review Forrest Gump scene by scene with a modern eye, but we believe nostalgia is the first way you got to talk about it. Let's go to AJ. First time you saw Forrest Gump, what was your rating back then of this movie?
This is I feel like this is a pretty solid like family movie night, you know. Having majority of us there in the room, like in a room watching a movie, pretty rare. But I do remember watching this, and I remember my parents getting the jokes, some of my brothers kind of getting the jokes, but
Little old AJ.
oh me, I'm just like, yeah, is that funny? All right, sounds good. I'm in for the joke, guys. This sounds great. I'm having a great time.
Or you got the jokes for the wrong reason, like when he goes,
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, he's making funny noises.
I was
That's
like,
awesome.
That's funny.
Oh, he's got asthma. I have asthma.
He must be funny. Oh man, why are his legs like that? Because I can't understand dialogue, that kind of thing. Because you're listening to people talk at this age. You're just like, I don't really care. I just see what's happening and I just take it literally. Cool.
Dialogue.
Yeah, and so, Hideki Matsuyama's teeing off right now, guys.
Good.
So, no, guys, I still enjoyed the movie plenty, and but at the same time, just so much of it just going over my head in a movie like this. It's too smart for me as a kid. That's what it was. So, but I will still give this. I will give this a 6.9.
6.9. Sean, what about you, man?
Yeah, this is pretty early for me. Same for AJ. This is probably just like a family movie that we watched and really enjoyed. I remember quite like Ferris Bueller, this like forming what songs or like what music kind of was. Anytime I hear that CCR song, I think of the shot
Duh.
of
What do
the
you
helicopters.
what do you think of when I do the
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah. Fortunate Son. It really ingrained it in my mind. But yeah, I liked it. I liked it as a kid, and I was probably much like AJ, where I didn't really understand a lot of it, but it's enjoyable. I will also give it a 6.9. Fuck it.
You know what? I'm going to do the exact same thing because this is pretty much the definition of a movie. The first time you saw it, it's happened. Everybody talked about it, and you're like, okay, this happened, and then it was over, and I didn't think about it.
Yep.
It was good, but it just didn't do anything to me as a 12-year-old when I saw it. I'm pretty sure this was the movie that everyone watched with their families. Like, the way they talk about it, the DVD sales, the VHS sales, in the theater for that long, you went and saw this with your family, or you rented it and saw it with your family. It was like, that's what it was almost made for. But it just never affected me to the point where I'm like, I need to own it. I need to watch it all the time. So yeah, it's like good, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
First time I saw it, I'll give it a 6.9.
Let's go.
Got to go to executive producer Josh Miller. He says, I may have more of a core memory of seeing this movie in theaters than possibly any other movie in the early to mid 90s. My town had 4 movie theaters at this time. None of them had more than 8 screens, which is kind of crazy to say these days with 20, 30, and 40 screen theaters these days. I remember which one it is, and it's been long gone in my hometown. Looking back, I was a sophomore in high school, and you could easily make the argument either way that this movie should have been more enticing to me. I remember walking out of this movie thinking it was great, clearly not going any deeper than the basic surface level stuff. One of the most memorable things was, and to this day still is, the soundtrack. Top 2 of all time. I'm thinking you guys can guess number 1. Dumb and Dumber, obviously, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I fully enjoyed it, even though I may have never gotten what it was ultimately trying to deliver to my 16-year-old brain. Nostalgic score 7.9.
Okay.
As a group, a 7.15. That's just a movie. That's just the definition of like pretty okay.
Yeah.
It's going to fall into the 97th spot of anything we've done. It's going to be just below National Treasure, just above Basketball. It's just there, nostalgically.
Okay.
It's on our list.
It was a movie that we saw.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on the list.
And that's it.
All right.
And now we don't talk about nostalgia ever again because now it's time to move on with modern day ratings and thoughts and everything. Sean, start us off with the important details of this movie.
Produced by Steve Starkey, Steve Tisch, and Wendy Feinerman. Screenplay by Eric Roth. He's done a lot. He wrote the screenplay for The Insider, Ali, Munich, underrated Spielberg movie, A Star is Born for Bradley Cooper, Killers of the Flower Moon for Scorsese, and Dune Part 1 for Denis Villeneuve, based off of the novel by Winston Groom. Cinematography by Don Burgess. He did 13 going on 30.
Oh, fun.
Spider-Man, What Lies Beneath, Richie Rich, which we will cover.
Oh, fun.
Christmas with the Cranks.
Oh, fun. Oh. Prolific.
Edited by Arthur Schmidt, directed by Robert Zemeckis. He has made some movies. Cast: Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, Sally Field, Brett Rice, McKelty Williamson, Gary Sinise, Michael Burgess, Stephen Griffith, and Haley Joel Osment. Winston Groom's novel Forrest Gump came out in 1986, but not before there was a bidding war for the theatrical rights to the property. Producers Wendy Feinerman and Steve Tisch acquired the rights and partnered with Warner Brothers to develop, and author Groom would write the first few drafts of the screenplay. With the success of Rain Man, Warner Brothers lost interest in a movie about a savant, so the producers then went to Columbia Pictures, who also rejected it. Then writer Eric Roth came on board to write his version of Forrest Gump, which strayed quite a bit from the original source material, but Roth's script got Paramount Pictures interested. I think Wendy Feinerman, who was one of the producers, her husband worked at Paramount, and so they kind of partnered together and just kind of made this happen. She fought for this for a long time. Obviously, the rights were in 1986, almost 10 years later,
Jesus.
This movie got made.
I did hear that. Did anybody read the book?
No.
Because I'm sure we're going to get inundated online because that's just what happens. And read the book. The book, I've heard, is much darker than this.
It's like, I'll get to it here, but the person that the author wanted cast as Forrest Gump will tell you everything you need to know about the novel. From what I hear, it's like unhinged.
Yeah, it was like he wasn't this like lovable kind of like dull guy. He was kind of gross and
was racist. And
yeah.
Had a lot of
all right
stuff.
Big old yikes right there.
The book was much better.
Ivan Reitman, Penny Marshall, Terry Gilliam, and Barry Sonnenfeld all turned down the directing opportunity before Robert Zemeckis accepted the gig. Sean Penn, Matthew Broderick, Chevy Chase, and Bill Murray were considered for the role of Forrest, and John Travolta was offered the role but turned it down, later regretting that decision.
What a dummy.
I think the same year was Pulp Fiction.
Well, and didn't we talk about that in Pulp Fiction? He was pretty much on the downslope of his entire career until Pulp Fiction, right? So he could have had both of these movies in the same year. He would have a statue right now, like 200 foot tall in the middle of America. He's our Lord and Savior.
In Philadelphia, right next to the Rocky one, just because.
Just because.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks accepted the role after reading only half of the script, and it was a challenge for the actor at first, citing he had to embody the character on film, making 3 days worth of absolute trash work just to work out what the character would be and sound like. So basically, he just made tapes for himself and would just kind of worked it out for himself. The original author Groom envisioned John Goodman in the role.
Okay.
So, because in the novel, he's like 250 to 300 pounds.
And huge, like super tall, right?
Huge guy, yeah.
Whoa.
Joe Pesci and Kevin Bacon were up for the role of Lieutenant Dan, but Gary Sinise won out. David Alan Grier, Ice Cube, and Dave Chappelle were up to play Bubba, and Tupac even auditioned for the role. Instead, that went to McKelty Williamson, to our delight. Principal photography began in August 1993 and shot mostly in South Carolina. While the film had a very large budget, director Robert Zemeckis would employ very low-budget techniques in order to achieve the look he wanted, as well as keep the company moves down to a minimum. A lot of the locations weren't too far from each other. Some behind-the-scenes footage shows Forrest Gump's Vietnam is actually just a field across the street from Forrest's house, and they just put some palm trees there. Excuse me. I really like that aspect about it. We'll get more into it as we get into it, but it's pretty centralized location-wise. But this movie is sprawling, and you would never think that they kind of stayed in South Carolina most of the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Never.
Forrest Gump was released on July 6, 1994, and on a budget of $55 million, the film made $678.2 million at the box office, and like Mike said, won 6 Academy Awards, including Best Visual Effects, Best Editing, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Director, Best Actor, and of course, Best Picture.
Wow.
That's all I got.
Well, thanks, Sean. Now we got to go to AJ. Let's hear what the critics and fans had to say about this movie. What do you got?
Well, like I was saying, shrimp it's the fruit of the sea. You can barbecue it, boil it, broil it, bake it, saute it. There's shrimp kebabs, shrimp creole, shrimp gumbo.
2 hours later.
Pan fried, deep fried, stir fried. There's pineapple, lemon, coconut, pepper, soup, stew, salad.
Gross.
And tomato.
And the tomato.
Oh, no. My hand slipped. Whoops. Sorry about that.
Sorry, man. Oh, geez. I don't know what happened.
I like it. I was going to keep it going. I liked it.
See, thank you, Sean.
Yeah,
thank you. Ah.
Brian will go ahead and edit that. He'll just go 2 hours later, and then it'll be the last one he does.
75% certified shrimp meter.
Hell yeah,
guys. Okay, just of all the movies we've done, the critics believe that the following movies are better than Forrest Gump.
Okay.
GoldenEye, Air Force One, Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
Yes.
Tremors,
Yes.
Crocodile Dundee, and Face Off.
Yes. 3 out of how many are better than
Just
this?
throwing that out there. Per the critics.
I think they really had something figured out here, 95% on the old popcorn meter.
Yeah.
And we're coming in at an 8.8 on IMDb.
Of all the movies we've done, that is tied in third place with Fight Club, trailing only Pulp Fiction and Fellowship of the Ring per the people that matter most, the fans in the world.
Pulp Fiction is better than this.
Pulp Fiction and Fellowship of the Ring are better than this movie.
Let's go.
Okay. All right. Well, the critic consensus here from old Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes. Tomatoes? Do you think it's tomatoes or tomatoes down there?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, learn something new every day.
You do?
Tom Hanks' rigorously earnest performance keeps Forrest Gump sincere, even when it gets glib, with American history, making for a whimsical odyssey of debatable wisdom and undeniable heart. I like that.
Cute.
I like that a lot. So, this is just a 1 out of 10. I did not like. This is in 2022. I did not like. Very dumb plot.
Okay.
Created purely for women.
What?
Man, I would have thought you would have liked this based on your verbiage.
You like
your
this?
English skills.
What are you, a woman? God.
What are you, smart?
What are you? Think you're some kind of smart guy?
Damn.
Ugh. Very boring, uninteresting film. Too bad it's always on TV.
I just have to watch it.
Garbage from under a horse, from under a shabby foal. What? Thanks.
Nope.
Thanks.
I did not like that.
I did not like. Here we go. This is what was the actual purpose of the movie?
Yeah.
This is from an esteemed.
What is the purpose of any movie?
What's the purpose of anybody doing anything?
Why are we doing this?
No, it doesn't matter. Who cares?
Oh God. This is from renowned IMDb reviewer First Shirt in 2020. Evidently, part of the milieu of making fun or criticizing Vietnam veterans as baby killers. Forrest Gump is a Vietnam veteran of low IQ. And they are trying to say all Vietnam veterans were what? Uses the usual
Veterans, mostly.
about the
People
war.
that had to go fight a war,
Yeah,
like they're
that's
just
about it.
normal people.
The moment that this movie got to the Vietnam War, this person was like, huh?
I thought this was going to be fun.
Don't they know? Anyway, uses all the cliches about the war, so provides nothing new. One might as well make a movie critical of the Korean War. Mm-hmm. Thanks. The movie should rate less than 1 star, but gets credit for Gary Sinise and his Lieutenant Dan band, who entertains the troops in the current war zones and flies veterans' kids to Disney World.
Which has everything to do with this movie.
Yes.
Gary
Yes.
Sinise does that?
Yes, he does.
That's awesome.
He's fully embraced the role of Lieutenant Dan as like the greatest of his career and that he's known for. And he's like all about supporting the troops as Lieutenant Dan.
That's so cool.
Brings like this band overseas and like does stuff like that and raises
Fuck
money.
yeah.
It's cool.
If he walks out on stage with his magic legs,
Oh, dude.
I'd be so stoked. Is that his band's name? Maybe that would be a great band.
No, it's Lieutenant Dan Band.
Oh, I thought it was Lieutenant Dan and the Magic Legs.
No, but the name is the Lieutenant Dan Band and the Magic Legs.
Okay.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
See, even this stupid ass review is
teaching us something.
Teaching us something. You can get something out of that.
Yeah, I
This is
would
great.
upvote that. Is that what you do?
This is
No.
great.
Okay.
How about this one, guys? This is a 1 out of 10. Whack Arrested Development Gump in the head with the feather, please. Yep. Rock Me Tokyo in 2022 said this. Seriously, this idiot character should have been dead in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Give or take about 4 minutes of overly long opening credits while we, the viewers, are subjected to getting dizzy and comatose watching a silly CGI feather blow around in the wind. My God. GAUWD.
Yeah. God.
My God. This movie was horribly stupid and an insult to reasonably functioning human beings around the world who have to deal with a lot of mediocrity and just plain insanity day in and day out. If anyone, male or female, says that they can relate to this moron character, as well as that other idiot, Bubba, then they have some serious mental problems and shouldn't operate any kind of machinery, much less have kids. Thanks. Keep your brain cells. Go out and chop wood or hunt. And skip this idiotic man boy Arrested Development garbage.
Women should fear me. Yeah.
Yeah, chop wood or hunt.
I feel nothing.
Yeah.
Is that the definition of an incel? I just learned what incel actually means.
I think that's a definition of just one of those bros on like TikTok who just like is talking to a woman and is mansplaining what men are.
But isn't that what an incel is, or no?
I think an incel.
I just learned what that was about.
They're involuntary celibate.
Yes.
Like
not on purpose.
This guy probably fucks, but
he might fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this guy, he might
not
fuck.
to the delight of the person.
He might have coerced a woman into.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That's awful.
That's my take.
Well, guys, I'll give you one. Somebody thought this was a good movie, right? Out there, so a few did, at least out in the world. First movie ever watched. So this is a 10 out of 10.
Good job. Hell yeah.
First movie ever watched.
Moving pictures are great.
This ain't a bad one.
Forrest Gump was the first movie I ever watched, and it left a mark on my heart.
Good.
Okay.
It wasn't just a film, it was an experience. I laughed, cried, and felt deeply connected to Forrest's journey. His innocence, honesty, and resilience taught me that being different is beautiful, and love and kindness truly matter. Every scene felt like a life lesson wrapped in emotion. Watching it felt like discovering the magic of cinema for the first time. Well, you just did. That's what you said That's what you said.
It made me feel like it.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Well, that's what happened. So, also, film will always be my first love for cinema. Beginning of a journey I'll never forget. That film didn't just entertain me; it touched something inside me. Oh. It was the moment I realized how magical and powerful cinema can be. Yes, because it's the first movie you ever saw. You gotta, if you see Forrest Gump though as your first film, I think that there's so much volatility that could be on your second watch. Like, what if the second one was like, it was like blank check, and you're just like, wow, what a letdown. I really thought cinema meant something.
Yeah.
It's good to see the highs and lows. You know?
It's good to see the highs and the lows. Let's see. Do we have the Little Lebowski Urban Achievers?
We got somebody in there. If you want to join the group, patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. We got some great tiers, great perks, voting on upcoming movies, giving your feedback. But if you join Little Lebowski Urban Achievers, you get to have your review read on air, your prop, your punchable face. Join up today.
Kind of fun.
Let's do it. Caleb K jumping in. Be like Caleb K. Get your review read on air, guys. I first saw this movie on VHS at a friend's house during a sleepover. I promptly fell asleep when Forrest was playing football. Woke up intermittently to him going to Vietnam, shrimping, and partying with Lieutenant Dan. Needless to say, I was confused. After finally getting to watch the movie all the way through after that, I fell in love with this movie. Kid me loved the Vietnam parts as the best. Trench coat kid like Sean. And had to leave the room when Jenny died because it just made me too sad.
Damn.
I don't have a firm nostalgia rating, but when I hear the phrase quintessentially American, is that even a phrase?
Yeah,
and that was his question, not mine.
It's the Cedar Ridge quintessential American single malt.
Yeah.
Quintessential American.
There it is. It's built right in.
Yep.
Great. I think of this movie. Forrest Gump is just like apple pie, the 4th of July, and the Declaration of Independence. It embodies our hopes and dreams and fears and problems all through the lens of a man who only sees the good in people. It may very well be a message that people need to hear today, just like they did when it came out. We will do Caleb's prop. He's got a punchable face.
Love it,
We'll
man.
do it, baby.
Hell yeah.
Well said. Well, friends, a little history lesson. The day was October 7th, 2020. That day, for no particular reason, we decided to record a podcast episode. So we recorded Hocus Pocus and Beetlejuice. And when we got done, we thought maybe we'd do Lethal Weapon and Big. And when we got done, we thought maybe we'd just try to do it for all of 2021. And then as 2022 started, we figured that since we went this far, maybe we'd try to do 2 episodes a week in 2022. And that's what we did. kept the podcast running through 2024, and we got there and we just kept right on going. And that moment led us to here. Ladies and gentlemen, a scene-by-scene breakdown of Forrest Gump.
We have been podcasting for 4 years.
Cue the feather, Brian.
Well, scene 1, Forrest Gump waits at a bus stop in Savannah, Georgia, telling his life story to a rotating cast of strangers. As a boy in Greenbow, Alabama, he struggles with leg braces and a low IQ, but shows incredible heart. He meets Jenny, the girl who would shape much of his emotional journey. When Forrest breaks free from his braces, his gift for running sets his life on a unique course. His talent earns him a football scholarship and paves the way to unexpected adventures.
Man, it must have taken the cameraman and the actors and the crew. This is a whole crew in general. So much time to get this shot right. To have like this feather falling from the sky.
Oh yeah.
To have, just kind of like tracking it, and like just even tracking it. Like I'm saying, the cameraman is just like tracking this feather. It's unpredictable, like it's going through the wind. But then for it to land on like this guy, kind of. Yeah. And then like perfectly kind of get swept away by the like when he goes off, and then like goes and like somehow lands on Tom Hanks's foot. I heard incredible stuff.
I heard it was like 502 takes. Before they got
it's
it. They kept like blowing it, and they had all these fans, and they were blowing.
It's got the record for the most takes.
Most takes for a feather scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
for feather scene. Yeah.
Yep. It's pretty wild, man.
I mean, this is filmmaking right here.
Yeah.
Just hoping for the best. This is the biggest lettuce moment we've ever seen.
This is cinema.
Yeah.
This is celluloid. Solenoid? What is it?
You got it.
Great.
Imagine sitting next to this guy in real life.
No.
No. It's very easy for us to be like, Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump, and man, it'd be so cool. Why is this lady ignoring him? He's like got the box of chocolates in her face, and she's like, dude, I'm fine. Listen.
I don't know where those chocolates have been.
No.
Okay.
Just imagine.
Half of them are probably melted. This is Georgia, right? Yeah, this is Savannah, Georgia.
In the summer. Just imagine this happening in real life. You are gonna get up and move. This guy talking like this, won't shut up, and then starting to reminisce. It would be so weird, but the beauty of this movie is that the first characters are like, nah. But as this movie goes on, I forget completely how weird this is.
Yeah.
Because of Tom Hanks and what he does to this role. Because it's a weird role. But like he just like I'm immersed in what he does as he revs this movie up. Mm-hmm. And I think you see it in everyone else because every other bus passenger from here on out is like way into it.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, we're all kind of like, what is this?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, one thing I do really respect about it is that they spent like a few days on this, I think, just this park bench. And why they did that is because Zemeckis wanted to get all of his voiceover with him on the bench.
Anything that's voiceover was like basically
they shot
the bench.
They shot it, yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, it's kind of crazy because it's like you need that, and like I'm fairly certain that everything else that they shot, they had to, they had the script, so they probably had someone saying it offset so they could cut perfectly to how they do, But yeah, to have all of his voiceover here and to have him play off of somebody, I think is very important for this, and it makes it a lot more earnest than like him just in a studio,
Yeah, him talking to somebody is going to give a different feel than him just talking into like a microphone, like he's reading a book.
He's not talking to someone; he's talking at someone.
He's talking. Sorry, excuse me.
Get that right.
Talking.
Forrest Gump
has
never talked to someone before in his life.
That's a very good point.
Wallace got shot. It's not like, oh, how was your experience? It's like, well, anyway, about my story.
So anyway, I'm telling a story here.
Excuse me.
And to continue my story.
Yeah.
We got a long ways to go. You ready for this?
Yeah, exactly. Like just buckle up. All right. No,
Life is like a box of chocolates. Unless you lift up the chocolate, then it usually says which one.
Yeah, unless you find the little thing on under the
either like a card in there or something.
Yeah, it's usually under the lid.
Yeah,
like it's just right there. So
you're good.
Unless you got it upside down, then you just flip it up over again. It's fine. Yeah. You'll figure it out. It's a Russell Stover's box of chocolates, guys. It's not a mystery science
pretty
theater.
Simple.
Fuck God.
In modern day times, you don't accept any sort of opened food from anyone.
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably the same back in 1994. You just don't. I love how he puts it right in her face, and she's just like.
God.
No.
I'm trying to go to work.
Why do
dude.
they stink?
Why do they stink? It's like it does. It's like it makes me feel bad though. Like at some times because he's just doing what he thinks is a nice gesture, but obviously like there's just societal norms that you're just like you don't need to offer everything to everyone you come across.
But dude, I didn't realize this until this watch. The chocolates, I always thought he just had them, but he bought them as a gift for Jenny.
Yeah.
And then he's just eating
And
them
he's
and
just-
offering them to strangers.
Yeah, even it
He
says
doesn't
like at the
understand.
end, I ate some.
It's one of the things where I'm like, good job, Forrest, because he is eating them because she, as we'll get to, treats him like shit throughout this
Yeah.
movie. And we can, if anybody has anything to refute that, that's fine. We can talk about that too. But it's the one thing that he has control over because whenever he gives her chocolate, she's probably like, no. Like I like gummy worms. you
No,
know?
she's that. Was that
But
in
like
Just Friends?
him eating them, and it's like his little act of defiance. Be like, well, she doesn't fucking eat them anyway, and I'm hungry. So
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
I like that for him.
It's like Just Friends at the end when the kid gives the girl, he's like, I got this for you. And then she turns and gives it to another boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's the same thing Jenny's been doing her entire
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. And so life is like a box of chocolates, unless you're Jenny and you just only get the coconut leftovers.
Yeah.
Because that's what you fucking deserve, you bitch. Hey, let's go on, guys.
We'll
This
have
is fun.
a whole section on Jenny because I do want to dive deep into
Yes.
her character at some point. But I want to talk about how I've completely forgot as this Mrs. Gump scene comes out where she's being told by the principal that he's slow and he won't be able to get into school. I don't remember this happening. She goes, well, there's got to be something I can do. I was like, oh. Like, is she gonna like fake pretend that she would like do anything for it, and then it switches to the scene of her actually doing it? Damn, Mrs. Gump. Also, I love to watch CinemaSins, the Everything Wrong With movie.
Yeah.
He called this prostitution, and I was like, that's the best thing I've ever. Prostitution. This is pretty intense that this happened. That she would do that for her son.
Yeah.
And she probably did it pretty well based on the way he reacted when he came out of.
I mean, those noises are foul. This is no one should be making noises like this.
Georgia's a weird fucking place, apparently, because that look.
Well, this is Alabama now.
Oh, Alabama.
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
sorry.
Greenbow, Alabama.
Greenbow.
Sorry, Georgians. Alabama. Fuck you guys. No, I'm
You're
just,
weird.
just kidding. But no, it's just like, but the noises are just atrocious.
It sounds like if you like took both ends of a cat and like yanked it like this.
It's like it's like somebody is making a bullfrog like on purpose, like it's just like
This might be the first time he's done anything like that in a while, and especially with somebody as good as Mrs. Gump, because she's been pent up too. You know,
True.
she might have liked it.
Maybe. I mean, it's for a good cause.
it's for a good cause.
You don't say much. That's really funny, and
Honestly,
I don't remember any of this from the first time I saw it.
That's the best reaction that kid could have had at that point too, of just like, do you know what you sound like? Because here, I'm doing you a favor.
He's like, I know.
For next time, okay? Don't do that. Christ.
Especially if a kid is outside.
Jesus, man. Yeah, and it's just so quiet. There's no noise. So all you're hearing is all the windows and doors of this entire place with all the lights on just echoing this noise throughout the entire house. No privacy back then.
Is there a
None.
Mr. Gump?
Mrs. Gump.
Gross.
I thought he was the same actor as the first lawyer in My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, dude.
I was gonna be super happy.
It was right. It was right on there. I definitely in the same vein.
Yeah.
100%. Yes.
I like this sort of, I guess the term I want to use is like train station-ish kind of halfway house-ish kind of thing that they like Airbnb. I don't know. What would you call it? There's a certain term he uses, but
Rooms to let.
yes,
is
there
what
you
they
go.
say, yeah.
I like that kind of vagabond nature that they sort of have with this, and then like introducing that Elvis is there and got his
pretty
moves
cool.
from his little janky leg.
This might be one of my favorite like historical. What do you call these? Like
Yeah.
historical oddities.
Yeah.
That Forrest Gump is a part of, because
my favorite one.
One of the best things about this movie is that somebody described it, or like one of the critics described it, is this movie is an odyssey. It's an odyssey, just like Ulysses goes through these trials and tribulations, and how it shaped how his life, he had an impact on shaping the world, basically. And that's what this is. It's basically the Odyssey, but it's Forrest Gump in Alabama.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. And it's so great to see that he was the reason that Elvis did this shaky leg thing the way he did it. And the way that this kid does it is phenomenal, because it's like they had this kid sitting down watching that same video that they catch in the window.
That.
We want you to do that and pretend to do it. And then God, it is so perfect.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
I do like these sort of interactions that he has throughout the entire movie, and I like the idea of it, and it's fun to see. But it does, I will say, get a little taxing sometimes, and to the point where I'm just like, this is like a boomer's wet dream. It's just like a white person affecting history from the 50s on,
Best era.
Yeah,
Kids today suck.
When I was growing up, everything was the best
Back then.
And I like to think that maybe I had an effect on like Nixon or something. you know? Like, shut the fuck up.
I really assimilate. I've had some pretty impactful moments in my life, actually, and they weren't on TV like that.
Unfortunately, like, we'll get to some of the politics that a lot of the Republicans at the time adopted this movie as like their own, and like everyone, like all the Democrats were like, well, we should have adopted it because it's more of our story. It's like, would you both just shut the fuck up?
It has nothing to do with anything.
Nothing to do with that. But in the way that it is like a white man's boomer fantasy, it does get a little taxing on that a little bit sometimes.
We'll definitely talk about some of them later, because I remember thinking that was one of the coolest parts of the movie, and then this time around I'm like, this is my least favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
All these little like, haha, look.
Especially the needle drops. We'll get to that. It's almost like you don't deserve that. Yeah.
Well, spoilers
enough.
for the future here.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about something I didn't notice before, because it's done so well. 2 different times it happens where young Forrest and older Forrest is running to the camera, being chased by the boys, and he turns the corner and the camera turns with him, and he's 100 yards down the way. I never picked up on that.
It's a great shot.
Dude, so, I mean, and you think about it logistically, Forrest is basically just running off camera, and someone is already way down there.
Stuntman or something,
Like, brilliant, because it's done just well enough to where your brain doesn't, like, go, oh, look, they added a stunt double there.
Yeah.
And it's just far enough that you don't want to question it too hard, but you're like, that's okay. Wait, that's improbable.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
I love both those.
You never
scenes.
know with kind of a Zemeckis movie, because there is so much visual effects, and he's a big proponent of that. But I like to think that this is in camera, because like the way the camera just moves with that truck looks so fucking slick. It's
I
so
think
cool.
it is. I think you're totally right.
I think it is.
It's my favorite thing. Like it almost makes you like tear up when he does it as a kid, because like he gets pegged by that rock.
Dude,
It looks so fucking brutal.
It's so funny.
And just,
dude, the way I'm
terrible, but it's like
the way he gets hit with the rock and it cuts to his feet, and they just go.
I know, and like because he can't catch himself because his legs are braced.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're just like. Like him hitting the ground is probably just as hard as like getting hit by that rock, and then like him getting up again and he gets hit in the back, and then but him breaking out of those braces is just like the greatest metaphor.
I love it.
Of like in this movie, I feel like of him just those braces breaking down, him just taking off running. I bet you didn't know. About run like the wind blows. He's
bragging.
proud of himself. Like, I can run really good. I can run.
Clearly,
I'm really good at running. I'm really good at it.
I kind of made a living at it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
pretty much some of the greatest accomplishments I've ever had is because I'm good at running. But anyway, we'll get to that.
I showed her how to dangle. The shot of him just like
she showed me how to climb. I showed her how to dangle. Dango.
There's something.
So great.
I'm sure you guys would agree with this. There's something just unbelievably funny to me about him playing football.
Yeah.
Like when he runs and then just goes 90-degree angle all the way across to the side and then go forward that way.
No.
And I never picked up on that, but I read that clear as day, he doesn't have a single dirt mark or grass stain on his uniform anytime you see him playing football, inferring that he's never once been tackled.
Never touched.
Never one single
that's
time he's
hilarious.
ever been tackled. And it's cool. And then I remember thinking this time, I go, well, shit, why didn't he like go to the play pro football?
Yeah.
That would be the obvious thing that would happen here. But the war. You know, like it's such a perfectly
That's
told
right.
story that in any normal story, why would the greatest college football player of all time not go play professional sports?
Yeah.
The war.
But we are, I think, led to believe that he enlisted.
Yes, correct.
Whereas in the book, he did get drafted.
Oh, he got drafted.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So he got because it's pretty seamless right there at graduation. Like snaps the photo and then somebody walks up to him and hands him the pamphlet, like a recruiter hands him that, and it's like, have you given any thought to your future, son? And again, he's just literal. He's like, well, I guess I haven't. It sounds like a great idea.
He just says yes
goes.
to everything.
Yeah, he's
just-
a yes man.
He's a yes
He's
man.
a yes man.
And by the way, I'm just going to say this right now. Go back, and if you hadn't noticed this, one of AJ's favorite factoids of movies, Forrest Gump never takes a photo with his eyes open.
Yep, I love it.
And guess what? Never noticed that in a million years until this one.
This is the funniest through line joke
I love
of
it.
almost any movie ever, and every single time it's like he got told like, "Oh, don't look at the flash because it says don't look at the flash because it can hurt your eyes," and then so he just blinks every time perfectly.
Yeah. But dude, it's either that or like we all, I think all of us, at least everybody listening, grew up with a kid that was a little bit dull, a little bit slow like Forrest. Not that we ever know really what's wrong with him, but that kid always seemed to be the kid that was blinking in photos.
Yeah.
Like always.
It's just like it's
All right,
I
ready? Say cheese. Cheese.
Because whenever they start a sentence, they close their eyes. You know?
Cheese.
Cheers.
What?
I like to believe that it's not like he acted that. They just took a lot of pictures and like just had him act normal, you know?
I just really
It's
want that
great-
to be the thing. Oh, it's a great through line, and it starts. I don't know if that's the first picture that he gets taken is at his graduation, but you can see him blink when they take the photo.
And it goes as far as when his official ping pong merchandise, they're like, we took 700 photos.
His cardboard cutout. It's fucking ridiculous.
We took 700 photos. Time magazine cover. Dude, I don't know what you want. We took 1,000 photos of them standing there, and not one of them does he have his eyes open.
Now I think, and the only time that he, I think, is in a picture that he might not be blinking is one for like a magazine. I think it was one for a magazine, but I still think it's
his
still
eyes-
hard to
I think
tell.
it's still
He's just. No, the opposite. We'll get to it when. We'll get to it with ping pong.
Yeah.
Another thing about his eyes. So.
A little on Jenny here, just to set this up, because we have to talk about this because it is a very important
It is
part of her character, and but her dad viciously, the way he is with her, not good. Don't like that.
Her and her sisters is what he said.
Yeah.
He was a very loving man, always touching them
Yeah.
and kissing them, and just like, oh, Forrest, you just don't get it. And that's like, I understand why you don't get it, but it's just like when he's
You're not
doing this
supposed to get it.
voiceover, and then you're kind of seeing this home life.
You're hearing a very nice and easy depiction of this.
Oh, this is just what it is. But
From
Jenny
Forrest.
just didn't come to school one day.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
You, Sean, we have to talk about this because this is the one thing that changed. When we've done this podcast for 5 years, I'm like, oh, dude, when we get to Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking rip Jenny apart. Worst character of all time. This time, I started to take a different view on it, and she was the victim of the worst abuse that a young child could ever go through. that none of us understand. I guess I'm speaking in generalities, but I don't understand what that is. And if you keep that in the back of your mind throughout this entire movie, things change for me about Jenny.
A lot more makes sense. Yeah.
And think about it from the aspect of her just never feeling good enough, always untrusting of having been violated her life. She just is numb to that. Also, we're like, you should love Forrest. Forrest, should she love Forrest? Forrest,
yeah, she shouldn't do it out of just pure principle and because he does insert himself into her life quite a bit, even though they did grow up together.
Yeah, like he's not necessarily like a stable person that she should like have to want to be with. She can be friends with him.
We're kind of at the point of like almost right away the first time he goes to her school.
Yes,
thinking
this is the
like,
end of the scene.
Like, see, you should be with Forrest. He's saving you. It's like, I mean, they were having like a makeout session in the car. I don't think it was actually something malicious happening in that car.
No, yeah,
there's like and like I think that like she bumps her head or something, but they giggle about it, that in the car or whatever. And Forrest takes that as like maybe an assault, and maybe Forrest takes that as maybe he did find out more about what happened to Jenny or something. I don't know, but like maybe this is happening again or something. I can't put my finger on that, I guess. But then it's just like, well, you should be with Jenny or Jenny, you should be with Forrest.
Come on.
And it's like, no, we're in college. This is super weird. This is weird that you showed up here and like you didn't call. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Kind of weird.
You're just sitting in the rain. It's kind of weird, bro.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get a little bit more into it.
Definitely.
But she is not. She's not. What do I want to say? The stigma of people hating Jenny is still there, though.
It's valid.
Yeah.
I wrote out a list of everything she's done wrong.
She should just let him go. That basically is what it is.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to scene 2. So after college, Forrest joins the Army and is deployed to Vietnam, where he forms a close bond with a fellow soldier named Bubba. Tragedy strikes during a patrol, and although Forrest heroically rescues many men, Bubba is killed. Forrest earns the Medal of Honor for his bravery. While recovering, he becomes a ping-pong prodigy, gaining fame and traveling internationally. At a protest rally in Washington, D.C., he briefly reunites with Jenny, now part of counterculture.
I do. Back to
Hey, I wrote that. I ran out of time this week.
Good.
That's the best synopsis I've put together. Thank you, Chat.
It's really good, man. Really good.
I hate it.
Spell checked and everything.
I know. Did you notice that? Do you notice it?
I hate it because you didn't write it. I like yours better. Back to sorry, what?
Your mistypes and your poor punctuation. It's like a little stamp of Mike Schulte's.
Looks like Mike did this drunk at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I love those. Those are great.
The best.
I love the text that we get. It's good. But back at him in the college and him in her dorm room. Yeah.
No, that's fine.
I didn't. ChatGPT didn't write any of my stuff, but
Sean GPT.
yes. Grammar,
punctuation, text.
it's not good. But the way she makes him come his pants, I do kind of like this scene. I like this a lot. It's a very sweet scene to me.
No, it's not. It's not sweet at all because it literally is the perfect description of being a freshman and living in the dorms in college. I don't know if you guys did that, but these moments of just like the terror of being in your room, just being like, I don't know what's going on over there, but it might happen for me someday, so I'm just going to shut up and just stay here. Like, I think it's almost a perfect description of college.
Yeah, and you should just shut up and stay there and not fucking fib on your roommate, bitch. But
fucking curlers and shit.
I like because she's like undressing in front of him, and she's like still doesn't realize that he's a grown man.
Yeah,
but she does, like, when she sits next to him, she realizes that he's looking at her, and she's like, oh, Forrest is interested in women and me.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that kind of like that. I don't know, because he is sort of simple, and I do kind of want to talk about that too. I don't think he's got like a huge mental problem, as far as like what literature says about this movie. But I just like. I think it's a sweet scene where, touches her tit and just blows a load. I just kind of. I mean, the first time you were ever with a woman or like touched a woman, I was like, "Whoa, dude, this is fucking sick."
I felt
you gotta learn somehow.
I felt like she kind of friendship carded him to be like, I know that you've never done this before. And I don't want you to. I've been in the world and seen what weird shit's out there.
Yes,
I want to be the one to help you.
Thank
do that.
you. Yeah, you put it way better. Than
I think that's kind of a cool thing that she did.
Yeah,
thinking of the age they are, like, here, let me try to help. I mean, she tried. She's like, well, maybe we'll try again some other time.
Yeah, I'm your best friend. Why don't you just try it with me?
Yeah, it's a scene, but there's something about Forrest Gump orgasming that is just it's almost as bad as the principal.
I'm dizzy.
This is like when you're 10 watching this scene with your parents next to you.
I didn't know what this was.
I didn't know what it was.
What
either.
happened to him?
I was like, oh man, is that I guess first time I didn't think like he just did that. I just thought he's like, man, he's just a little caught off guard.
No, that's when you're starting to ask how babies are made, and your dad's like, yeah, that's it. That's how babies are made. You touch a boob, and you see how you go like this. It hurts, and it hurts really bad.
Dad goes on vacation and never comes back.
Dizzy. There's on vacation.
He's like, fuck it, dude.
And then he's kind of like,
because his eyes are like foggy now.
he's seeing the world a completely different way from here on the rest
He's
of
a
his
new
life.
man. Oh.
There was a really cool moment that I noticed this time around. That you got a lot of parallel moments where the same thing happens two different times.
Yeah.
We had the getting hit by the rock and running away. One of them that was really cool was the getting on the bus. So the first time he gets on the bus, everybody's being a piece of shit. Even the kid, there's two kids sitting in a seat, and they're like, seat's taken. It's like, I know seat's taken.
Can't sit here. I know.
You can't fit three people in a seat, but that's fine. But Jenny then becomes nice to him, becomes a pivotal friend. Recreate that moment on the bus to basic training, a pivotal moment when one person decides to be nice to him, Bubba, and becomes a longtime pivotal friend and moment in his life. It's a really cool thing that's how he can associate who the good people are in the world.
Yeah.
That who he can trust because they're like,
that.
let's help you,
It's a movie of repetition. I feel like it's a nod almost of just, I think just how Forrest just lives his life in a repetitive manner because it's just what he knows. He just does what he knows.
Well, and
he doesn't have this like, especially right now, like this will and like, oh, I need to go try new things constantly, that's how I was. I wanted to try and if I did the same thing like 3 times, I was bored with it, which sucks. I wish I wasn't that way. But then you have this, it's just like the way he lives his life is very repetitive. And then the actions around him, the world around him, it just kind of keeps falling into the same thing. It's kind of interesting.
The repetition of we see the repetition and then we hear the repetition too. When
you can sit down here if you want.
Yeah, and it goes, but Bubba knows everything there is to know about the shrimping business. I know everything there is to know about the shrimping business. That's the dullness in Forrest coming through in the storytelling. It's so great because they don't smart up the storytelling of it. No, it's Forrest being dull telling you the story.
Yeah.
I love it. It's awesome.
And it's also like reminiscent of just like anybody's life. Like how the fuck did we meet and become friends, whatever, because we were nice to each other probably.
Yeah.
Like one of us wasn't a shit and we're just like, yeah, you're my friend now.
Hey, you're cool.
Yeah. But like even Zemeckis' kind of fascination throughout his career with time. Back to the Future, for Christ's sake, nostalgia in general. It's just seeped in all over this, It's and I do like that. Time seems to like be repeating itself. Like, it might seem that way to like a simple person,
Yeah.
who just kind of floating through life and letting whatever happens. I do want to backtrack just a little bit and talk about the visual effects of like JFK.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about it? Hold up for it.
Yeah, because that was he met JF. JFK was
I must have drank me about 15 Dr.
the
Pepper.
Dr. Pepper's
That
at
was from the college,
Alabama
after
football
the college team. Yep.
national team or whatever. Yeah.
There's a few. There's like the one where he ends up in the background of that protest that's going on in college.
Yes.
Which, by the way, the reporter of that thing is David Brisbane. He played Mr. Ernst on Hey Dude. I just want to throw that out there.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
One of my favorite people ever.
Raccoon's trying to get it, but my mom was back, boy. She just sweep him off with a broom.
Oh my God. When he comes out and this guy, this douchebag next to him, whatever, is like, want to come in? He's just, Coons. Coons. Well, the Coons ever try to get in the house, I'm just chase them off with broom. It's like, no.
Like
No.
raccoons are trying to get into school?
Not
We can't have
raccoons.
this.
It's just like it's just such a beautiful innocence of just like, oh, raccoons. Oh no. It's just, but then again, the beautiful innocence of like, oh, ma'am, you dropped your book.
Dropped your book.
And then he just
His wave is the best.
Sean, I don't know. I used to like these, but I don't
Yeah.
know how I feel about all these anymore.
They
I
were
stare at him for too much now.
Yeah, groundbreaking at the time.
Yes.
You know, and like the amount of work it took to even just line up him shaking hands. It's a whole process. It will take a long time to get through. If you want to look it up, go ahead. But like basically it's just they're taking actual footage and having Tom Hanks on a
Yes.
blue screen or green screen,
Yep.
just perfectly kind of like measuring how he would be shaking his
looking
hand
in the right direction of places.
eye lines and everything. It's very complicated, especially for 1994. But yeah, I mean, like some of the lip stuff doesn't line
No.
up as much. And
I remember it being better than this, and
Yeah.
now I'm like, that doesn't match.
I think this is, I don't think I've had one of these moments in a little while, but I think this is one of those things where digital remastering kind of has a negative effect on the effects they were using back then.
sure.
I think it has just kind of this draw. It's like we made it too crisp and too clear, and you can see that mouth as it's kind of moving. Especially Nixon later on is
Yeah.
another one
Yeah.
that's kind of, it's pretty rough. All right, I'll have my people. I'll have my people take care of it.
The mouth
Yeah.
like moves over. and-
Yeah,
John Lennon's is particularly
yes.
doesn't hold up.
Well, it's easy if you try, Dick. But it's one of those things. I believe he just said he had to go pay.
Yeah, that one, the JFK
That's pretty
one,
good.
is probably the best of them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, but I like these moments. I love these old. I love how they show this as if it were on TV. It's back then, and how they do superimpose it. They do it like an old newsreel or something like that. Like the All-American national team visited the White House today, and like doing that. I think it's a great little breakup of these scenes.
Yeah.
I think it's a great, almost like segue at times. So.
How
Bubba.
good? Oh, go ahead.
Bubba.
Yeah.
McKelty Williamson. I think he's nominated already for Heat. Was Heat this year?
Did we?
I think or maybe he won. I don't know. I think he's nominated for Best Supporting Actor for The Confusees already this year. But
If he's not, he is now.
He is
Let's just
now.
put
He
it
is
that way.
now.
Bubba's the best.
He's
Obviously.
the best.
Bubba is awesome.
This is transformation too, because we know Kelty from Con Air,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Babyface in Con Air.
Yep.
So or Baby O, another simple white man that he's got to play number 2 to. Fuck. But no, like him sitting down, but him sitting down next to him, he is like, it's a chameleon effort, I think, on this.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Like, and him meeting Lieutenant Dan too. It's like, what's wrong with your lip, boy? I was born with big gums, sir. Better tuck that in. Get that caught on a tripwire. It's like, God, that's not okay.
I love he's like at the end of all this. He's like, I'm going to the stripping business as soon as I get out of the army. He's like, okay.
You want to join? We get everything 50-50. Okay.
Okay.
That sounds like a fine idea.
He says again.
Bubba had a fine idea.
Says yes to everything. And speaking of my favorite, this drill sergeant.
It's so good.
Okay.
He's the best.
Yes.
This is so. I wanted to tell you guys. I've been really struggling with like how I'm going to be a parent once Harrison really reaches this 4-year-old kind of thing. Because eventually I'm going to have to start being tougher on him and being more of a father figure than I am just love hanging out with him and being buds. And I think I found my role model to be his role model. And it is this drill sergeant.
It's being really angry but saying nice things.
Why did you put your weapon to go so quickly, Gump?
Because you told me to, drill sergeant.
Jesus H. Christ.
God damn it, Gump. This is a new company record. He's like, you keep this up, you are going to be a general one day. He's like, now, just stand your woman and do it again.
It's so good. And I like to view it from Forrest Gump's perspective is he's just the simpleton that just goes, well, if it's so easy. You just listen to what they say and you do it. So you can see that first shot where he's thinking, he's standing there going, I have to wait for him to ask me something. And then I say, yes, Jill Sergeant.
Yeah.
So then when he goes, yes, Jill Sergeant.
He's almost the perfect soldier because like he just kind of just does what everyone tells him to do.
Doesn't he even say that? Like if we had 1,000 of you, we'd win the war. Like,
can we just get an overdub of Universal Soldier, but it's Forrest Gump? He's just the perfect soldier. Or what is the Kurt Russell movie? That's just Soldier, I think.
Yeah,
Soldier.
like
Put Forrest Gump's face on the movie cover because he is the perfect soldier of just. It's like, it's not really hard. You just make your bed real nice, and every time somebody asks you a question, you just say, yes, drill sergeant. It's so good.
He's maybe like the standout. That I just love that bit of how you said where he's praising him, but being a drill instructor at the same time because he's got to keep up the facade, you know.
God damn it, Gump. You're the smartest man I've ever met in my life. He's like,
you're going to be a general someday.
You're going to have my job one day. It's like basically saying, if I'm not careful, you're going to take my job. Just like...
Well, and this leads right into this where we could probably talk about the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, just even in this era that they've now entered, just them being in war, we get that Fortunate Son happen on the helicopter, which I think we discussed that. I don't think of that song without thinking of this movie. And then you're immediately into like Three Doors songs, Jimi Hendrix, Stop Children, What's That Sound? Like, no wonder this was one of the highest selling movie soundtracks of all time.
It's front to back, really great. And a lot of the moments do really, really work, and some of them don't for me. I'll get into that. But
these work.
Yes.
Later on, you're like, eh.
Yeah. A little on, they seem a little shoehorned. But yeah, I mean, we were listening to it before we started. It's fucking phenomenal.
Ugh.
It's this song and Huey helicopters. If you don't have them, if you're going to play that and you don't have a Huey helicopter in the scene, you've made the biggest fuck up of a movie.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we put Fortunate Son in there. Is there helicopters? No. Well, I don't want to watch it.
Then I don't want to watch
ridiculous.
it. Or no, we had helicopters. Cool. Did you have Fortunate Son playing? No. We did Ace of Base. I saw the sign.
Well,
shit.
You might as well just throw that in the garbage.
Throw that in the garbage because we don't want it.
That's right.
Or what is it good for? Is that good? No. You're gonna have to have John Fogerty screaming his ass off. Yeah.
How about let's talk about the Vietnam and everything involved in this whole thing. I thought all the war scenes were fantastic.
Absolutely, and I for a movie that's like, it's well shot and it's well lit. I thought most of the Vietnam scenes were beautiful.
Yeah,
like outstanding more compared to the rest of the movie. How it looks. Some of the shots I do really like, but. Here is where I really start to notice the cinematography and like the colors kind of look a little more tough, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. There's something about it.
That's maybe what they did. They edited the colors a little bit and the visual to make it feel like it wasn't just because you said that and I'm like, no, dude, they went overseas and filmed this.
Right.
Somewhere. Even if it was like Hawaii, they went somewhere and filmed this.
South Carolina.
Nope, they did it in South Carolina.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Like the scenes of this, apparently they got a lot of praise for some accuracy of as far as the Vietnam War goes. I don't know, mostly because of you never actually once see the enemy in these scenes.
You see him like in the background running.
Sometimes you see, but the thing is like maybe it was a bad guy, maybe it wasn't.
Sure.
And so you never technically see any of them, and they said that's how it was.
Jesus.
It was so dense, and the jungles were just so thick, and they knew their terrain so well, they understood their home basically so well. You didn't see them. That people were getting shot at and taken out, unfortunately, and it was just that was the accuracy of these scenes. And then I like how they kind of break this up with some comedy in there, little bits of it, like the rain, sideways. So he came straight up from the ground. It's just
big
like
old
big old fat rain.
Stang gang rain.
Stang guy.
Cleveland, he was from Dallas.
Oh my God.
Texas.
I don't know what.
I can't really remember. It was Texas. And then you can see him
it's one of the best
see him in the scenes. He's like, I don't really know where Texas from.
Yeah, I love his reaction.
Like in the war. he's thinking about it right then and there. I can't really remember Texas.
Which is probably what he was thinking about in that moment. These guys are all scared for their life. He's like,
I know.
wonder where Texas from.
Yeah, because Lieutenant Dan had one of them feelings again, and he's telling us to get down. Shut up. Get down. Shut up.
It doesn't get old. Normally, I would get so sick of that. And it doesn't get old.
I know. It's so funny. It's just like and like him regaling of all his buddies and stuff, and the moment of when they do get attacked and
it's intense, man. It fucking still stark and just properly intense for like a war movie for 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, they do. I mean, they create a very, very good war movie for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it's like, wow, this is really well done.
It's great because this is not the whole story. This is just one little section of this Forrest Gump story.
Correct.
They could have spent more time on this, but it's like, here we go. This is all you need to know. They get there. He went through his basic. He went through all this stuff. Look how good of a person he is. He just did this because he is a good person, not because he was thinking about honor or anything. And then we're done. We're out of. He gets his $1 million wound, which I didn't understand what that terminology was, but that basically means you're injured just enough to where you don't have to go to active service anymore, and you can fulfill your term, still get paid, still get all your benefits, but you don't actually have to fight anymore, and you don't die.
Yeah.
It's like the rarest of all the possible ways that you could get a wound.
It was a bullet, wasn't it?
Excuse me?
That jumped up and bit you.
Something bit me.
Oh, yes, sir. Jumped up, bit me right in the buttocks. The buttocks.
And I think it's Platoon.
They said that was $1 million wound, but military must have kept that money because I didn't see a nickel then.
Well, you don't need it.
Because you're alive. And
you invest in an apple.
Platoon, they say after the end battle in Platoon, the most brutal one that's at night or something like that, they show one of the characters stabbing himself in the thigh so he can try and get the fuck out of it because he just saw a nightmare, and that always stuck with me. And I didn't know what that meant, and my dad had to explain it to me. I'm like, oh fuck, it was that bad.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm never gonna pretend to understand the throes of war. So.
Not a chance. Yeah, and he gets his Medal of Honor. Did you feel that there was some weird implications with this Lyndon B. Johnson where he actually says, I sure would like to see that, and he
I'd like to see that.
Was that weird to you?
Yes.
Where he pulls down. Is that just supposed to be funny? I did have to read it.
What the hell else is it supposed to mean?
Yeah.
Well,
he says
did they sneak a gay joke about Johnson in there?
I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, was Lyndon B. Johnson gay? And they were like, well, there's thoughts that he might have been because his aide, his closest friend and personal aide, Walter Jenkins, was arrested in a gay sting operation at a YMCA and had to resign. It was this huge scandal.
How was he arrested?
That's what I was saying. I don't know. I think it was because they were doing lewd acts in public places.
Oh, okay.
But that's a deep cut of a joke that I don't think anyone would.
Yeah.
I think I asked my dad. He's like, I don't remember that.
Yeah, because I was watching it this time. I didn't know that. And he's like, well, I'd like to see what that looks like. He's like, yeah, what is that supposed to mean other than I will show you my ass right here, right now? I don't blame Forrest whatsoever.
No.
No.
It's just literal brain. It's It's just like didn't mean that later on. Probably. Well, I'll show it to you.
There you go.
I've
Okay.
shown lots of
Okay.
people.
Okay, here we go.
So
I want to do a Huggable Face.
Okay.
Is the guy that introduces Forrest to ping pong.
Oh, shit. Good
He
call,
just-
man.
I just like him. He just seems really nice. He's like, yeah, man, you got it. Go ahead, dude. Forrest, like, good catch, Forrest. You know.
The key is to keep your eye on the ball and never take it off the ball. And he goes,
do you
and
notice
he just zones into it.
he never blinks when he is playing ping pong?
He blinks every time there's a photo. Ted.
Correct. But he never blinks.
That's why he doesn't allow flash photography while he's playing.
Yes, yes, of course, of
It
course.
makes sense that he would just fall into this and be so good at it.
Yeah,
It makes total sense.
And I love ping pong. I'm pretty good at ping pong. And so yeah, I do really love these scenes and like so prop.
Oh, shit. Okay, well, I'm going to hit this button right here.
Ooh, here's a prop.
I'm gonna have to go. I was gonna say the Fortune magazine with him and Lieutenant Dan, but I want one of the ping pong paddles of him and Chairman Mao.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
okay. I got one from Caleb K. Caleb K. and our little Lebowski Urban Achievers. He said he either wants the actual letter from Apple about the Apple stock or Jenny's Letterman jacket. He would like to have that.
Yeah, man.
I want the feather. I think just the feather on our wall would be pretty dope.
You want the feather.
I want the feather, yeah.
Just staple it to the wall.
Yeah. No, it just we'll set it up. We'll set up a fan system in here so it's just always
Oh, it's just
blowing.
always
it's
blowing
always
around.
blowing.
Okay.
And then we could get Ricky Fitz to like do a weird monologue about how it's so beautiful floating around in the wind.
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. We need that. We need that overdub now. Man, this is such a tough one. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. I want his Bubba Gump hat.
Ooh,
Hell yeah.
I think you could probably buy one of those.
I think so.
I probably could, but
Surprised you don't have one.
I want his Bubba Gump hat after he's been running. Yeah.
Well, then we might as well hit this then too.
If we were on a train to go punch a face, I'm on
That's what I'm talking about.
Your idea of the lovable face is great because there are actually a lot of really lovable people in this movie. It tends to focus more on the good people, and the ones that are shitty, it doesn't really give it much screen time.
Yeah.
Like the kids, you don't really see them.
Yeah.
Like, fuck them.
and,
But
and they're pretty stupid for just saying, even in like the college kids, just like, hey, stupid.
Yeah.
that's a
You
cultural.
can't come up with anything better.
Shut
You've
up.
had how many years and you're still doing the same
Well, that's an inside joke because that's kids in Alabama calling someone stupid.
Okay.
That's an inside joke. You're
Okay.
like, you're stupid.
It's redundant.
Because you're small town Alabama. Sorry for anybody out there that grew up that way. But you got the internet. You can learn things. They couldn't.
Well, did you hear about all the kids that were throwing like M80s and like dynamite across the border into Mississippi?
Awesome.
They were throwing that back. They're throwing it over the border. Just
The imaginary line.
the imaginary line, and then the Mississippi kids were lighting it and throwing it back.
God,
you like that joke?
Damn.
Punchable face.
it.
It's very easy for me. It is Wesley. And I know
Wesley,
he gets it. I
yes.
know he gets it from Forrest, but he needs it more because this guy is the epitome of that fucking douchebag who just picks the cause because it's popular.
Yeah.
And does it to like power trip on the people that are going to be there with him, especially the women. That is Wesley.
He is the opposite of a Ferris Bueller.
Oh.
I don't believe in isms. He believes in all the isms.
Yes.
He doesn't believe him in the isms. He believes in the being around the isms.
Being around the isms. Yes.
He likes the idea of it more than he actually gives a shit
He's
about the cause.
Never gathered a personality throughout his entire life, so he's gonna make these things his personality.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is an absolute imposter of just the world around him. And you're right. You're exactly right. You're just doing this to get girls like Jenny, probably.
Yes.
That's it. So you can be a part of the thing.
Man, he just got me so pissed off. It's like,
It's the damn thing with Johnson. It's like you're just using buzzwords.
Yeah.
Political
Yes.
buzzwords to just like sound cool.
yes, he is.
You are a turd. Yeah.
Caleb K said the doctor. He wants to punch the principal, or no, the doctor from the beginning that was talking about his legs.
Oh.
Yeah.
Legs as strong as I've ever seen, but his arrow is crooked as a politician.
And since the legs are so strong, we're going to put braces on the legs.
Yes.
By the way, he's like, you can open your eyes now. I'm like, you made him close his eyes the entire time you're putting those on his legs.
Jesus.
My punchable face is the can't sit here kid.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to rip his head off.
I love that.
Shit down his neck.
I love that.
Oh, God, he deserves it.
I love that.
Who do you got, AJ?
Wesley is also mine.
Yes.
Yeah, Wesley is mine. He is he is the biggest douche of this movie, and he is also exactly the type of person that, you know, we talked about like what happened to Jenny and everything. There's a reason why she goes back to these guys like this and gets on the bus with this idiot again.
Yeah.
And like, it's because he's an abusive piece of shit.
And that's where you have to like hate Jenny, but also understand where she's coming from, because this is all she knows.
But also says to him, like, I'll always be your girl, Forrest. Like, just let him go.
You can't say that.
Just let him go, because he's gonna keep coming back for more. If you truly don't want him to keep coming back in your life, and you can't keep showing up like this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you truly don't want that, you can't give that bait.
And
You
she
just
of
can't.
all people knows his mindset and how he thinks. The fact that she said I'll always be your girl is literal to him.
Yes.
Going, you're my girl for life.
Yo, my
Correct.
girl.
Yeah, my girl. That shot of him when he smiles at her when she gets on the bus and then changes to the snarl when he looks at
Dude. when
that might be my favorite part of this movie.
it is top tier of him, and that dude gets on the bus, and like I just like to think that
it's such a force. He doesn't know how to do that, but he like thinks that that's what he has to do.
Yeah.
It's so perfect.
it's so perfect. I just like to think that Wesley is the reason like that. Like they went and they did whatever they were gonna do, went back to Berkeley or whatever, and they
California.
Ooh, then you're going whatever. Fuck off. I just like to think that like they found drugs together, like heroin, and the first time he OD'd. Good.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And he's just fucking done.
Yes, that is how he disappears. We don't hear that story, but he ODs the first time.
Because we don't hear anything else from him. And I'm like, I wish I would have heard more bad things. I'm like, you know what? I'd come up with something worse.
He died.
That's great.
No, he got killed by a Black Panther.
Good. Yeah, I'm sorry I
being
had
at
to
the-
fight in the middle of your Black Panther party. The fact that he calls it a Black Panther party as a get together, not the party of.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that.
Thinks of it as their hanging out party, not like they're a party of people. It's fucking amazing. Sorry, I had to fight in the middle of your Black Panther party.
Okay.
That guy, Forrest, is 2 seconds away. He was an extra half a punch away from getting shot.
Yes, he was.
Like, oh.
But also, I'm just like, well, like violence against women. Don't you guys disagree with that too?
Right.
What's going on here? Like, why are you mad at Forrest?
100%.
But I kind of want to talk about a little bit of his like his simplicity, I guess. Like a lot of things say he's like the R word, or like say that he's really slow, or he's got like a
Spectrum or
a
something,
low
yeah.
IQ or whatever. And I kind of disagree. I just think he's just a little simple.
Yeah.
I think I know a lot of people like this actually, and they're very functional people.
Well, clearly he is completely functional in every
100%.
aspect.
And like his morals are even there. It's like I think people kind of walk around him and think that they can walk on top of him. I think like even this Wesley dude, where he just gets the shit knocked out of him from Forrest, who seems like he doesn't understand what the morality of like hitting a woman would be. His morals are on the right side. That's as smart as you can fucking be, dude.
Yeah.
There's a difference between like mentally challenged, but also maybe just socially challenged.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I think that's more or less of like what's going on with
I think you're
Forrest.
right.
I think there's a social lack rather than anything.
He doesn't know what Riz is, and he will
Yes.
never know what
Yes.
Riz is.
Thank God.
And he doesn't hope to get chow down on some glizzies.
Yeah.
Okay. and maybe that's not fire to you, but it's lit for Forrest.
And it's not even far out for him. He
It's
doesn't know
not.
what that means.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't think that his uniform is a trip, Jenny. He just wears it because it's what he's supposed to do as the person that he has become.
Yeah.
So there you go. So why don't you go take a shower and not stink, Jenna?
Shave your armpits.
Yes. Okay.
I don't care what.
It's just hygiene. All right. That's all we're talking.
And
about.
some of it to you, Sean, it's the way he talks.
Yeah.
If he didn't talk like this, we might not think the way we think about him because it's just such a dumb way to sound.
Yeah.
He sounds dumb because of that dialect that he has. You know,
One of
take
the-
that away. It's maybe we don't think that.
It's very true. It's very true because, and also, by the way, he started talking like that for his character. Tom Hanks did because the kid who played him. That's how he actually sounded. The way he talks in the
He
movie.
looked like he sounded that way.
That's how he sounded. Well, I thought he was yucking it up more.
Dude.
I always thought the kid was apparently was doing more of like a voice, but apparently he actually talked like that, and that's where Tom Hanks took that for Forrest and ran with it. No pun intended.
Let's talk a little bit about Gary Sinise then. This is where now he's been saved by Forrest. He doesn't have his legs. They reconvene. They have the greatest New Year's Eve scene, I think, in any movie. I think we've discussed this at some point. Them sitting there. But I wondered if this was a joke. He talks about Lieutenant Dan and says since he had no legs, he spent most of his time working out his arms. Was that something that maybe Lieutenant Dan told Forrest as a drinking joke? Like I'm working out my arms, like
That's funny.
I'm drinking.
That
I feel like I've heard someone say a joke like,
No.
we're working out, we're
Working
doing
the
curls,
arms. That's
12-ounce curls.
Yeah.
Is that? Am I overthinking that, or was he actually? Like I am working out my arms.
I don't think you're overthinking it, but he says, does he say arms or upper body?
I think he says
Does
arms.
he say arms? Okay.
I don't know.
So then if he does say
he
that,
had no legs, spent most of the time working out his arms.
if he does say it that way, then that would make a lot of sense. Because
Lieutenant Dan made the joke, and he's like, "Oh, okay."
but there's also then the obvious side of it where it's like, well, since Lieutenant Dan didn't have no leg, he worked out his arms. It's like, well, yeah, no shit.
He has to.
Like that's the other part of it for me.
I think the best part of the visual effects are Lieutenant Dan's missing legs.
Oh my gosh,
they're fucking incredible.
Have you seen the green screens? The green screening that they've done
Didn't he
behind
just
the scenes.
They wrapped his legs in green screen.
It's like green socks,
Yeah.
like green like nylon stuff.
and just pretend like these are not here as you're moving around.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Even
Oh my
when
God.
he gets knocked off his chair by
Yeah.
those two women, they put like practical things in the scene for the audience to like kind of get tricked a little bit. So like even just like this coffee table, like if he had legs, they would be protruding out enough to hit the coffee table, but he like swings in a certain way, and they just kind of like elevate it a little bit.
Yeah.
And like kind of like a forced perspective kind of thing.
Okay.
And so like it just looks like he has no legs, and they're just missing the coffee table. Little things like that. That's why it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And makes it work a lot for me.
That's I think it's some of the best because you never think about it.
Yeah.
You never give any thought to it, like as a viewer, about his legs. And man, when Lieutenant Dan shows up the first time, they gave you the Medal of Honor. He turns around, and I think it's a shock to everyone how Lieutenant Dan looks.
Yes.
At this point, he looks like they made him the quintessential, like down on his luck Vietnam vet kind of guy.
Because that's what he became.
The bumper stickers on the chair and like that he probably got from a VA, and you're just like, it's like, man, oh man, it's just. And the sad thing is, guys, I am so sorry, but when he goes down that hill in that chair and flips around backwards, and I laugh a lot.
Yeah, it's okay.
And I feel bad. I feel bad about it. So I'm sorry.
No, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. That is funny.
It's
It's happened before.
Objectively funny.
It happens all the time. It's winter in New
If we went
York.
outside and saw that right now, I would be laughing.
That'd help him up.
Yeah.
Oh, of course,
100%.
Lieutenant Dan.
Well, I mean, everybody seems to think it's funny. The two prosties seem to think it's funny when he falls out of his chair. Did you recognize?
That part wasn't funny though.
Yeah. Did you recognize Long Limbs Lenore? One of the prostitutes. Did you recognize her face at all? Such a subtle little cameo in my mind. I love talking about these things. Her actress's name was Marla Sukaretsa. She was the nurse in Road Trip that milks the prostate of our boy. Yeah,
She's come a long way.
she's come a long
Along
way.
to
Wow.
some great things.
Yeah,
From prostitution to
milking
a jerk-off nurse.
prostitutions to prostrates.
Yeah. Prostitutes to prostate.
Yeah.
Prosty to prosty.
I kind of want to talk a little bit about the negative music moments in this for me, where like, yeah, Jenny, she was going to where are you going? San Francisco. Start playing San Francisco.
Yeah.
You know, are you going to San? It's just a little way too shoehorned in for me, and like even when Lieutenant Dan says, I'm walking here. They're playing Harry Nilsson like in fucking Midnight Cowboy. It's just like, dude, it's taking me out a little bit.
Create your own moment, please.
It's like we did a movie where I think it's Scorsese of Goodfellas, where like they play a track and like 2 seconds later play a different one, but then come back to that same track. You know, somehow that worked in that movie. Where this almost gets a little bit much. Where it's just, I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? It's a little, like I said, just shoehorned in for me, and it's
Too convenient.
we get it.
We understand.
Yeah, you don't have to play the music.
It's almost like using music as dialogue
It
to a
is.
degree, or context of sorts beyond a timestamp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it also trickles down to certain scenes in the movie where like this Watergate thing. I think we're here, right? Where he meets Nixon and gives him the hotel. The whole thing does not need to be here whatsoever. Him staying in the hotel and witnessing Watergate. It's just for the audience to be like, oh yeah, I remember that. And then it moves on.
But they go as deep as the guy that answers the phone says, hey, this is Frank Willis here. Frank Willis here. Frank Willis was the actual guy that was on duty that
Was he?
night.
Okay.
And like, that's cool, but what plot device does
And what's it saying?
it's not saying, it's just saying
saying
Forrest does everything. He's
Yeah.
helped change the world in every situation he's ever
Yeah.
been. It's like,
It
But
says
Forrest-
that Forrest was the reason that Watergate got found out.
Right.
Like that this scenario got found
But
out.
I don't
and that's
care.
it. It doesn't affect the story whatsoever in any way, because like I mean,
It's a quick bit.
yeah,
You're right.
and it I don't think it needs to be here. I think it kind of slows the movie down to be, and well, it doesn't slow it down. It's just cramming so many of these things in to just for like Robert Zemeckis to be like, remember that? It's like, yeah, I do. Whatever. It's like, yeah, that's a thing that happened. And like I mean, some of the criticism I have about it is that Forrest doesn't have a belief in really any certain way, you know. But I also do like it about it. That's why this movie is when we get to the end here, I'll be like, this is actually one of the weirdest movies we've ever covered, because it's not saying a damn thing, but it's entertaining as fuck.
Yeah.
Scene 3, Forrest uses his ping pong earnings to buy a shrimping boat, fulfilling his promise to Bubba. Lieutenant Dan, his former commanding officer, joins him on the venture. A devastating hurricane wipes out the competition, turning their operation into a massive success. Lieutenant Dan invests their profits in Apple computers, making Forrest financially secure for life. Forrest returns home just in time to be with his dying mother. I love that he does this, that he actually goes and fulfills Bubba's destiny. Of course he does. Most people would be like, yeah, I don't know anything about that. And
Promise is a promise.
you know, Bubba's gone, and you know, I got other things to do with my life. He's like, no, I'm going to do that. And I think it gives us some of the best moments of the movie. It gives us, first of all, the funniest moment of the movie when he jumps off the moving boat waving when he sees Lieutenant Dan. I don't care. It makes no sense that the boat goes that way and turns around and comes back and crashes,
Right.
and now is not a boat that is functional anymore. don't even care because of how cool it was that he just jumped off that boat when it was moving.
He was just so excited to see him that he just jumped off this boat. And
the best gif of all time.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that's him waving.
His freaking wave, man. Like it's so good. And honestly, I love that. I love the dynamic. He gets up there and he says, "Lieutenant, what are you doing here?" "Well, thought I'd come try out my sea legs, but you ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan." Fucking best line delivery. I know that. They had the best, some of the best like back and forth right there between those two is just insane.
We like Forrest and Bubba. We love it, but Forrest and Lieutenant Dan is the movie for me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It
Gary
is.
Sinise is so good. In
He
this.
is, and this moment, how powerful this is, that when he's so pissed off at the world and everything, when he battles that storm, like attached to the top of the rigging, that's one of the most powerful moments of this movie, because he is like, I don't give a shit right now.
I should have died. I'm basically dead.
I'm
to
basically
myself.
dead because I didn't die, and the fact that they do come out of that. And someone wasn't there in their right mind, Lieutenant Dan or Forrest, not in their right mind to be like, we should go back. There's a hurricane.
Yeah.
Because they stayed out and battled it is the only reason they fell into this. They're terrible. I forgot that they didn't even know what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they weren't catching anything.
Right.
That just because they were both so dumb to not go back to shore.
Yeah.
And tie up their boat and wait out the storm is the only reason they made millions and billions and trillions of dollars.
Yep.
While everyone else suffered.
Do you also realize though too that like Lieutenant Dan? So I made this connection that Lieutenant Dan is actually not that good of a leader, because he's always getting these feelings and telling us to get down, shut up. Well, he was getting his feelings up on the boat too, and he's saying, "I have a feeling that if we go due north or whatever." And he's like, and they never catch anything.
Nope.
Because Lieutenant Dan doesn't know shit. And he's not really that good of a leader. And so if he can just relinquish that and come to terms with it and be like, maybe you should call Forrest captain, but I am not calling you captain. No, sir. But I kind of had this like realization, all these feelings that Lieutenant Dan gets are just kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
It's probably why he relates to Forrest so much, and it comes back to him, and like is his first mate too.
Yeah.
He probably sees that in him and is like, well, yeah, you and I are pretty similar. I just put on this facade because I'm supposed to, because my whole family died in war.
Right.
You know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you read up on the Apple stock on what that was actually worth? Because the film just kind of says, he's
Some sort of fruit company.
some sort of fruit company. We made a lot of money. The Forrest's hypothetical investment of $100,000 into Apple stock is now worth an estimated $48.6 billion.
Jesus Christ.
At this point in time. So, and that's assuming they invested right when it came out, which I'm thinking they said it did, and they haven't sold anything. But that's the coolest thing, I think, because he doesn't understand the gravity of what happened there.
Some sort of fruit company. He said, we don't have to worry about money anymore. And I said, well, that's good.
Well, that's good.
One less thing.
And the fact that he does imagine being Bubba Gump's mom and opening that letter. I mean, we're assuming there was millions of dollars in 1970 or 80 or whatever. That's incredible.
Yeah.
She didn't have to wait in tables no more or something like that.
She didn't have to serve no food no more. She had somebody serving her food. Like,
She sure did.
yeah.
Yeah, this
Sure
is
did.
all really cool. I like the shots and the
White
moments.
lady serving her food, by the way.
Yeah.
But
I like the shots in the moments of him talking to Graves, and like the one where later on where he's talking to Jenny's.
Oh,
and,
yeah, come
and
on,
then
man.
this one with Bubba is awesome. I love. He's like, hey Bubba, Forrest Gump here. Like he's actually talking to a friend. There's something so endearing about that, and I really like that about Forrest Gump's character.
Yeah. Well, you get another one then. Here he goes home.
Yeah.
Your mama's sick, and he again just
Just die.
He stops and
I
goes,
love it.
"That's due west. That's the nearest dock." And he jumps off and goes. And we didn't talk really about Sally Field here.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite movie mom. We're coming up on Mother's Day. She's one of my favorite movie moms of all time. She literally did anything for her son to have a normal life, and it comes through in this moment where they're finally together. Forrest, I'm dying, and the sentiment.
Sugarcoat.
Yeah, the sentiment that like people die and you need to learn about this.
Yeah.
Because more people will die in your life, Forrest. It's just such a great moment between them in this scene.
She never stopped teaching her son, even up until the very end there, because he just kind of never, he needs that. He needs to keep figuring this stuff out. Somebody has to kind of bring him along a little bit, at least, to get him out of his repetitiveness of just doing what he does. He would play ping pong for the Army for how long? If somebody hadn't come and said, your service is all done.
You would have just kept going.
Not for all of us. Not for the Army, you can't. It's just, okay, he goes home.
Well, then I don't play ping pong anymore.
It's his norm, and like having this moment of just like, his mom is sick, goes back, I'm dying. It's a part of life. And then what is she? I mean, this is the life is like a box of chocolates line, probably the most impactful moment that we get that one. And she says there's this really, really heavy hitting moment where he says, "What's my destiny, Mama?" It's like, you're gonna have to figure that out on yourself.
When he's already done all these things too.
Yeah.
But he doesn't think that he has.
Yeah, exactly. He's just doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like he thinks he impacted anything or has had a fulfilling life up until this point even. It's just, he's just doing what he's doing.
Yeah, man.
Which is, I think you guys are saying it too, where whenever he's done doing what he's doing, he just goes home.
Goes home.
So what else is he supposed to do, until something else comes along that he says yes to?
Well, and he fulfills what my destiny and dream in life is to become a millionaire and then just like do things like mow lawns.
I have it now since we're here, but that I want to change my prop to that snapper riding lawnmower. That thing's so sick, dude.
I would love that for the house. Yeah, that'd be great.
It'd be so great. I mean, the idea that he just is worth millions and just mows lawns and takes care of the property. That is my dream. That is my dream.
It is now. Like,
yeah.
Now
maybe
looking
not
back,
10
I'm
years
just like,
ago.
No, 10 years ago, it was like, I don't want a fucking house. What are you talking about? Ooh, equity. And you're just like.
Now you're like, ooh,
I'm like,
lawn bright. I got to make my lawn look good this year.
I'm like, you know what? I think that pool's coming out this year. Yeah, it's time. I'm gonna give some property value back on this one.
I'm gonna put a party patio there instead.
I think I am. And then we're gonna have a good cook-at.
Yeah. Pizza oven.
Brick oven pizza. Yeah,
well,
great.
Get this, pergola.
Oh my God,
pergola. And by the way, it is going to be weatherproof.
Oh,
not wood. Not wood. Weatherproof. Thing's never coming down.
Holy shit, dude.
Oh, yeah. I'll invite you guys over.
Later, we're taking it down. We're putting the pool back in.
Harrison's grown up a little bit more. He wants a pool.
Yeah, he's taking swimming lessons.
So now I got to do them here. Now I'm going to have to work for an extra 20 years so we can make...
Well, let's do scene 4. So Jenny returns to Forrest, and though she declines his marriage proposal, she shares a night with him before leaving again. Heartbroken, Forrest begins an impulsive cross-country run that lasts for years, gaining national attention. His running becomes a symbol of hope and mystery for many Americans. Through it all, Forrest never stops loving Jenny, waiting for her to come back in his life.
Again, Sweet Home Alabama starts playing when Jenny comes home to Alabama.
It was like peas and carrots.
It gets to me, man.
I'm with you, man.
Anyway, she's here.
This is actually the first time that it does get to me, Sean. So like the other ones I can excuse. They feel good. They're kind of montagey. Like this one feels, it's in the same thing, but it's like they peaked. This is the peak of on the nose.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yep.
All right.
Well, and then like even later on too, it gets even worse. And maybe that's where it peaks for me is like, well, he's running, so running songs.
Yeah. Running on empty.
Exactly, dude.
Into the wind. Yeah,
but I love,
okay.
yeah.
I mean, I love those songs.
So
That's
lie.
the problem. They're great songs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're just like, you put it because he's running. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
I do really love this guy sort of montagey to one of the worst songs ever in Sweet Home Alabama. Now, anyway. But this whole montage thing of them hanging out, having a great time, like
dancing
they were
in the
kids.
rain, dancing inside.
It's very, very sweet.
That shot of them dancing on the end. She taught me how to dance, and it's raining outside. You just feel that it's a summer night where it's raining and you're inside and the lights.
I feel
are
like you
on.
can smell that. There's a certain smell when that happens. Yeah.
There's a theory. If you're on the Jenny hate train, I'm wondering if Jenny was already pregnant and already knew she was pregnant when she came back home. Because it even says how she came back home and she slept like she never so tired and maybe like she had just found out she was pregnant. She's like morning sickness. She's just tired. That happened to my wife both times she was initially pregnant. Just her body just like shut down.
Yeah.
So there could be the thought that she was already pregnant with this kid who's someone else's kid, and she's like, I need to go home and sleep with Forrest so that he can become the stable father figure that this kid needs.
Yeah.
That could be a thing.
Which is gross.
Let me run this by.
Bitches.
Let me run this. If you want to be on the Jenny hate train, here's what I wrote. Take all the things I already said about why she's just had a rough life. Jenny gives Forrest his first orgasm and then is surprised that he is obsessing over her. He shows up in her time of need at the strip club. The bouncers aren't doing shit. He saves her. She's pissed off and literally leaves him on the side of the road. Finally reuniting after he served his country and almost died, she gets hit by her boyfriend. He defends her. She still gets mad. Then after a nice night, she takes her old boyfriend Wesley back and leaves Forrest once again. Then she comes back, gets his hope up again, turns down his proposal, then takes his virginity, leaves the next morning, has his kid without telling him for 4 years, completely surprises him, and then fucking dies on him after they get married.
Why would, especially, I mean, we're not there, you mentioned it, but like, why would you keep a kid from him? If he is yours, why would you keep him from him so long? That's fucking evil, dude.
Especially him not understanding that look later on when he finds out it's his is like the most amazing acting of Tom Hanks in this movie when he's like, and then all the thoughts run through his head of like, is he smart?
Yeah.
Like that's such a powerful moment that you just threw on him.
Yeah.
Didn't even tell him why. Yeah, that's your son.
Yep.
Didn't even beat around the bush to be like, I'll tell you eventually. Let's just get you to know the kid.
Yeah.
Just tells him.
What a way to do it. Oh, I just got home from work and I'm kind of a mess. And oh, there he is. Yep. And yep, you can, go watch TV. It's your kid.
By the way,
Thanks.
that's your semen in human form.
Yes.
Yep, just checking it out.
Yes.
How about that, huh?
Kind of fun.
How about it? And by the way, I'm dying. And I have.
And now I want to marry you.
Yeah. And I.
Oh, you're really rich right now, aren't you?
Turns
Okay,
out
cool.
all those years of like, needle usage and drugs and free love. Apparently you get HIV.
Yep.
Or AIDS or something.
So
that-
pay for my funeral. I don't have any money. I owe a lot of people money. And here's your son. So make sure you can take care of him.
Yep.
You want to get married?
No.
Now,
Fuck you, bitch.
no, but I will take care of the kid. All right. Because if it's actually mine, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, because that's my responsibility. Yes. Yeah, man. I mean, like even earlier when she says like, you don't know what love is. Like, does anybody know what love is?
You don't.
You fucking don't. I mean, it's definitely very skewed what your thought of love is, 100%, and that's very unfortunate. But you can't go around telling people that. You can't like say you're saying how you feel about yourself and projecting it onto Forrest. That's what's going on.
Forrest knows more about love than you do.
It's just a feeling, and that's it. And he knows that, and that's all Forrest does is feel.
Forrest has every decision he's made in life to this point has been because he loves you, Jenny.
Yes.
What the fuck do you know about it?
He names his boat Jenny, even though his buddy Bubba introduced him to the fact of shrimp boat businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't know what love is, Jenny, clearly. And that's for all the bad reasons.
Yes.
You don't know what love is, but also for all the choices you've made up to this point on top of it. There is a point of like, everybody has all these past traumas. Then at this point, there's this section here though. that you made just a shit ton of bad decisions and you don't know what love is. Okay, that's you, Jenny. It's pretty brutal to just say that to somebody and be like, and then just walk away.
Yeah.
Take his virginity the first time he's ever had sex with the one person he wants to do it with, and then leave in the morning.
Yeah. Bye.
Where are you running? I'm not running. Yes, you fucking are.
Yes, you are.
You've been running your whole life.
Yeah.
And then you have Forrest, who goes and runs for didn't he say? Is it 3 years?
3 years, 2 months, 14 days, and 16 hours. People out there have actually projected his route based on all the places he's gone and the shots you see. He crossed the Mississippi 6 times, including his trip back home. Saw the Pacific twice, the Atlantic twice. They estimate that he ran a total of 15,248 miles during his 5-time trip across the USA. If it was indeed those 3 years, 2 months, 14 days, 16 hours, he averaged 91 miles per week with an average speed of 0.54 miles per hour. This equates to 13 miles per day, slightly less than a half marathon per day for more than 3 years.
Is that humanly possible?
I can't see how that's possible.
I mean, when he was hungry, he ate. When he was tired, he slept. And when he
had to go,
I went.
Whant.
I mean, I do. I like this is you get the shot of beautiful America. Oof. And
the shot.
You get Jackson Brown, you get fucking Fleetwood Mac, this is one of like the
Seeger.
Oh, dude, it's like purely American, and it's fucking fantastic.
This is the apple pie moment.
Yeah.
If of an apple pie movie,
yeah.
In my opinion, like, yes, I know, like, there's been a lot of other stuff leading up to this. Football, I mean, you name it. College football, war, that's
very American.
That's very American. And then you have this, and it is just those beautiful places. The United States is basically like 7 different countries. Yeah. If you go over to to Europe,
it is.
It's like 7 different countries in one, and the coast to coast is beautiful. Those shots, and especially the ones when he's kind of retelling them to Jenny. Like he says,
yes.
I don't know when Sky started.
Yes.
It gives me chills.
Oh
man.
my gosh. And you're just like, and it's the way he's describing it. And the tone of his voice is just, it's just like, I want to go there.
I went to the lighthouse so he goes from Alabama all the way to Santa Monica. Then he goes all the way up to Maine. I went to that lighthouse that he runs out to and just goes,
oh, really?
Okay. And comes back. It's beautiful. It's absolutely the most perfect lighthouse you can go to, man.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of them out there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's his hair, and I do want to make mention of like the two guys that he kind of helps along the way.
Dude, so
the bumper sticker guy.
It happens.
What
happens?
Shit happens? Sometimes.
Oh man, you just stepped in a big pile of dog shit.
It
happens.
I love to because they show like him like avoiding it before stepping in it, obviously, and then like a few moments later, the crowd.
You see other people. You see other people like parting behind him.
A lot of these were felt shoehorned, like the John Lennon thing.
Yes.
I hated the John Lennon thing. I fucking hated it. Mostly because I just don't like the Beatles and John Lennon, but also they're like, oh, you helped write Imagine?
Yeah.
No, okay, fucking whatever. But these ones are the pointless ones.
Low stakes.
The low stakes ones are super fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is what I'm here for. The shit happens, and then the smiley face.
The have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Take it, and the fact that he's like, oh, here, use this color. Nobody really likes that color anyways.
Yeah.
The yellow. And then he does it, and it's that perfect smiley face. What an hilarious joke.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That is a hilarious joke. That it's just a perfect smiley. Have a nice day. And he just has a revelation. That's brilliant.
And I love how like he made a bumper sticker and made a lot of money, and it shows the truck.
Yeah.
Shit happens and just gets fucking T-boned. That's fucking
And the
funny.
fact that most of us would be like, if I helped to invent something that made bazillions of dollars, I'd be so pissed because I'd be like, I need money, I need to sue
Yeah.
you for it. It's
Yeah.
like, cool.
Yeah, I don't care.
That's cool.
Then it kind of shows like this story of karma, you know, that he does things and doesn't ask for almost anything in return.
Yeah.
Ever. From I don't think anybody in this movie.
Never.
Other than love from Jenny.
That's all
I
he
think that's
wants.
the only time he actually asked for anything in this movie is love from Jenny. And that's it.
Yeah.
I have one more thing to say on like the whole like you know, Jenny and Forrest and the love thing. And like it's this moment we were talking about like, you know, the crying moments and stuff like that. But there's also these like conviction moments that are very rare for Forrest. Like when he chooses he's going to go and do the boat thing, right? Like he's like, no, because he has a conviction for going and fulfilling that. And like she says, you don't know what love is. I actually had somebody tell me that in my life. Somebody like I had next like that told me like you don't know what love is, and I question it. But Forrest is like convicted. He's like, I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is. And he walks out. You see him walk out on the porch, like doing what every fucking man and dad has done. Walk out on that porch, be like, fuck. I know I'm, you know, but he does it. He's like, I know what love is. And there's that conviction moment that's very rare for him. And that moment too of like, is he smart? Like he knows he's not smart, you know? And what'd you say, Sean? You said like, you know, love is it's not just between like a man and a woman or man, woman. It's just two people.
It's everything. It's friendship. It's like, like you know, fulfilling Bubba's dream and doing the whole shrimp business. That's love for his friend. That's what love is.
Right. Yeah. And that's I think the big takeaway, like the big thing at this point in the movie is like, he's aware of himself, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
And we kind of finally are getting that like proved to us as the audience now, finally too.
Yeah, you're right. That is kind of a smart way. Because the comedy is in this movie, and a lot of it is Forrest is kind of the butt of the joke for a lot of it because he is so simple and things just, you know, fall into his lap. That we kind of get lost in that too.
Yeah.
And like sometimes like this moment you're talking about, we are reminded like, no, he's kind of always known what he's been doing and what love is and what things he needs to do and what's important.
Right.
He's always known.
Yeah.
Well, final scene, Forrest receives a letter from Jenny and visits her, learning she is terminally ill and that he is the father of her son. They move back to Alabama and marry, but Jenny soon passes away. Lieutenant Dan visits the wedding, now happy and walking with prosthetic legs. The film ends with Forrest sending his son off to school, slipping the feather from the beginning into his book. As the bus drives away, the feather floats back into the sky, an echo of Forrest's extraordinary, gentle journey. There was a nice little, per the Jarrett Layoff Confused Breakfast actor database. Do you know what actor has been in the most movies we've done so far that was in this movie?
Is it the bus driver?
Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Doris?
That's a good call, though. She's been in a lot of things.
Yeah.
No, this is big. Mary Ellen Trainor is the woman that
my
brings
God,
the
yes.
son to the apartment.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
This is officially her 8th movie that we have done, which means we now have a solidified 4 on our Mount Rushmore. John Candy, Steve Buscemi, Nick Cage, and Mary Ellen Trainor have been in the most movies that we have done so far.
Get us a Mary Ellen Trainor candle, somebody.
We need a Mary Ellen Trainor
Fuck
candle.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that
She
was her.
finally made it. She's been fighting her way.
She has, man.
From
a lot of weird little small roles.
From
but she made
Lethal
her way.
Weapon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Fuck yes.
There you go.
Let's see. So, well, we've kind of touched on this already a little bit, you know, them coming in and Big Forrest meets Little Forrest and all that. This wedding ceremony is such like a beautiful and mixed with the music of like that small ceremony right on the lawn of the house. Lieutenant Dan standing in the back there, like it's like
No, when he goes, Forrest, this is my fiance, Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan. All right.
Because now he knows what Lieutenant Dan has done. Because he's been able to do that too. He's like,
Yeah.
you do that too? Hey.
I didn't know if this was. I didn't know if this was a nod or anything too, but it's like because of like the Vietnam War and everything, and it like Susan looks like she's like a Vietnamese
Probably, maybe.
of Asian. Yeah,
Maybe he traveled back there now that he's rich and he wanted to revisit. Like many
Sabbatical.
people have done. Yeah.
yeah, that kind of thing. So I thought that was another kind of like a nod of like his, making his peace with the world pretty much and himself and all that. Finding somebody special that it's just his person that he found.
And I want to talk about that for a sec too, because as far as this movie goes for like over the top for me, especially with the music and stuff, like I've been saying this whole time, it doesn't go over the top in the sense where of like Lieutenant Dan. He says it. He's like, I think Lieutenant Dan found God that day or made his peace with God that day. It doesn't overtly say like that Lieutenant Dan is now religious, and I appreciate that about the movie because it could have just been like, okay, yeah, God does everything, and it's because of God, and like, I mean, if you believe that, I'm fine. That's fine. It's a little annoying in movies, especially with one that's been so heavy-handed like this. But I especially love the ways that like when he's like, well, I guess you better start praying, immediately cuts to Forrest singing in the choir, which is so funny. But then sometimes Lieutenant Dan came, but I don't think he was much interested. He
left the praying to me,
looking at the cross with like a drink. I fucking love those shots.
Distinctive stain.
But it could have really been heavy handed in that, and I appreciate that it wasn't. But also one more thing on the less heavy-handedness is that a lot of these side characters could have been like more A-listers or more like sort of B++ listers, I guess. And a lot of them I don't recognize. I mean, Mary Ellen Trainor pops in, which is awesome, but like even the people sitting on the bench could have been like heavy players in Hollywood. And I appreciate that they're more kind of low-level actors that are playing these smaller parts. I do like that a lot.
That is great. And then you get, I mean, this is where the whole movie took a turn for me. I was having a good time, and then it's just like pure emotion. This whole final scene, the realization, it all switches for me when he does go to her apartment, and the realization, he first says, she's like, you're a mama? Yeah, I named him Forrest. I named him Forrest after Zed. He got a daddy named Forrest?
You got a daddy named Forrest?
No, you. And it immediately now switches to just Tom Hanks' chops and how intensely his thoughts about, is the kid smart? Like, oh fuck, thank God he is, that, and then Jenny's death, man, we talk so much shit about it, but still, like, it's still the most important thing to him is Jenny. Like, he finally got what he wanted, and now she's gonna die, and man, his performance on her grave is like, I'm just in full tears at this point.
Yeah.
It's incredible what Tom Hanks can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it still works. Even, like you're saying, I guess the negative connotations that we could have towards Jenny as a character,
she still died.
It doesn't change anything for Forrest.
Yes.
Forrest still feels so heavily about her. And he's our conduit, so do we.
Yes, we do, man.
You don't want anything bad to happen to Forrest, and we don't want to see him in this sort of state. We don't want to see him lose a loved one. It's devastating still.
It is, man.
Yeah, and and now it becomes the bonding of him and his now son, that you're just like, now it's them, and it's the end. There's a moment right at the end that gets me very choked up when he says, when little Forrest goes to get on the bus, and Forrest stands up because he's like, I remember this moment in my life.
Yep.
And he says, I just want to say I love you.
Yep.
And he doesn't preface it with anything of,
Now listen, if somebody tries to bully you on the bus, like, I'll come pick you up. And he's just, I figured it out. You will too.
You got to do it. Yeah. And you're just like, ugh.
You got to find your own destiny, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Man.
And this is where it all changes, because I think we've listened to all the things that Forrest has done. Forrest overcame a debilitating back issue. He taught Elvis Presley how to do a signature dance. He became an All-American football player, met the president twice, went to Vietnam, survived, was a celebrated war hero. He he inspired John Lennon to write Imagine. He uncovered the Watergate Hotel issue. He formed Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, got rich off of Apple stock, helped everyone that bumped into him become rich and successful, became famous for running across the country for almost 4 years. But the most important thing to him at the end of this is not Jenny. It's not any of that stuff. It is that he became a father. And the circle of life of him going, none of that fucking matters because now I have this kid and I want my kid to experience the goodness in life. Like that's where this movie made me go, oh, he's going to sit on that stump until the bus comes back.
Probably.
He very well could.
No, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He said, I will be here when you get back, and he's going to sit there because it is all that matters to Forrest. That hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like it's amazing what this movie does at the end of this thing.
And I appreciate too where there is a lot of scenes where Forrest is just sitting on something and just being. You know, like that's for me, that's really hard to do.
It sure is.
You know,
I always have music playing or like a podcast playing, whatever, and I'm always distracted. But just to live in the moment, Forrest is very good at that.
I have more so in the past like year's time been trying so hard because in today's society it is incredibly difficult to be able to have that kind of a peace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just to have that kind of peace for 5 minutes. Not because of anything like, oh, you know, kids and work and all this stuff. It's like, no, because it's so easy to just have a distraction of your phone, of a game, of even music can be that distraction to just like to pull you out of it and not just be present in the world for 5 fucking minutes. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen anymore like this. That's maybe one of the most stark reminders of that happens in this movie, I think, for me, of just being able to sit and just be present in the fucking world. Mm-hmm. And so many people just choose not to do that anymore. And it becomes this thing where like the idea of sitting and just being out in the world, in nature, in a city, sit on a fucking park bench, whatever you want to call it, and just be there. And the difference between that and sitting in the exact same place and just being on your phone is two completely different realms of fucking life.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Is two different things completely. And like people need to start seeing that more.
And he's got like no stance either on anything. It's
no.
Like, when he's doing the run, he's got all the reporters being like, "What are you doing this for? Like, is it for muscular dystrophy? Is it for fucking whatever, the war and whatever? Is it from animals?" He's like, "No, just running." He just chooses to do stuff.
What?
Some people said it gave him hope.
Oh,
No,
I don't know about
that. It's like. It's just he's doing it like because and that, by the way, the running thing is a great metaphor of like it just seems like he had a lot to run from his past even and all the stuff
the running
that he's done.
tie-in of everything.
Yes, and like you know, and Jenny running away.
Everybody
and
was
so
running.
If everyone else is running away, then he's gonna go run away too.
Yep.
Yeah.
The way Eric Roth described writing this that whole running scene too is really cool because he just kind of wrote himself out of. Kind of like a writing exercise he made for himself where he's like, yeah, well, Jenny went away and he's like, well, you just started running. And like his thought behind it was Forrest's monologue where he's like, well, I ran to the end of the road. And then I ran to the end of town and then the end of the county. And like Eric Ross was like, well, I'll just have him keep going. And it turned into this whole thing.
Yeah.
And like, that's really cool.
Hell yeah.
Well, it almost didn't happen too, by the way, since we're on the subject of the running. I know we're off the script or the scenes here, but that almost didn't happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, those scenes were like we're getting down to budget. We aren't going to be able to. We're getting out of time.
They were like, well, we need these. So.
And I think Robert Zemeckis and Tom Hanks funded it.
They're like, well, no,
oh wow.
And then a lot of the shots of like the faraway shots, that's not even Tom Hanks running. They got his brother to do it because like Tom Hanks was doing a decent amount of it.
Yeah.
But they borderline had to film it in secret almost. And in doing so, they had like a secondary unit that was filming Tom Hanks's brother because they couldn't have another stand-in. They had to get this like weird Hanks run that he has, that kind of arm swing.
Yeah.
And so that's why they had his brother stand in. It's pretty funny.
Well, boys, anything else you want to say on this one?
I think that's it.
We'll send it over to the Patreon.
Yeah.
We'll talk some more about that. We have dissected Forrest Gump with a modern eye. Time to give it a modern day rating. AJ, got to go to you. What are your thoughts on this now, modern day?
Man, this is what I would call, like, we have these moments where we call it's like it's a movie, but to me this is a movie. And I really feel like this is a movie. Like I said before, it's like, and it was mentioned, it's like this movie is an odyssey of this man from Alabama who changes the world unknowingly. And I think it's a funny thing, and it's a funny sentiment that we can all attach to. And it's not that we all want to say, it's not like the boomer wet dream like you're talking about. But there is a point where you kind of do have to think like your presence has made an impact. Maybe it didn't not meeting the president impact, I guess. But it's made an impact, and it's a butterfly effect of what even somebody like Forrest Gump can or has done. And we all have that. And I think that's an important takeaway, is how important life is, your life is, and the impact that you have on the world around you. And it's it's become a really great think piece, I think, as you grow up. You watch this in your 20s, it's different when you watch it in your 30s, that kind of a thing. And I think that the movie still gets me. It still makes me laugh, actually, out loud, not just do the yeah. It makes me laugh, and it makes me tear up, and it makes me emotional, and it gets me angry at times, and it gets me frustrated at times. And I think a movie that makes you go through all those emotions, especially over the span of this like 30-year time frame that he goes through of his life, it's just a movie that is like, it focuses on what should be important in life for you. Even though the greatest moments of his life, they compare to nothing. They're nothing compared to some of the others. So I think it's a great movie. I think it's a wonderful sentiment. I think it has all those things. It's hard for me to knock on this movie because I think that they're pretty small in comparison to the good. So that all being said, I think that this movie, I think that Forrest Gump is a 9.05.
9.05 for AJ. Sean, what about you?
Yep. I think that this is still an extremely entertaining movie. All these years later, being an adult now, watching it these days, I do find some things, like I said in the episode, that do get to me. I do think that a lot of it is a little too convenient for me. But like all the negatives I have about this movie, I've already said. So I do think that this movie is really extremely well made, obviously. And Robert Zemeckis has this thing with time, and it's very interesting in his career. I really like that aspect about it. Obviously, Tom Hanks' performance is amazing. But yeah, the issues are still there for me. And I kind of like to say, like, this movie says, like, life is like a box of chocolates. I think this movie is like a box of chocolates because you eat one of those chocolates and maybe you don't know what it is, and like some of them are the fucking good ass caramel ones, you know. And some of them are like maybe the nougat, just plain old nougat or something like that. But then you get some of them that are just like a cherry inside. Maybe you don't like cherry, like I don't, inside of your chocolate, but it's still chocolate. And no matter how flaws I have about this movie, it still works. The flaws that I have are there, but I think that it's extremely, extremely watchable. Maybe a little long, but I'm going to give it a 7.1.
Oh. 7.1 from the Shawner. I watched this movie a whole different way as an adult and then as a parent. I think that rang to me more than anything did in this movie. I totally agree. The flaws are there. All the the going back in history and inserting him into everything. It's just like, yeah, we could have done without that. He still made such a great impact without those things.
Yeah.
They were like the materialistic things of like, wow, we got to meet John Lennon. I don't really care. And the music stuff, for as good as it was, it could also be pretty bad in this movie. And the quotes we always talk about, the like, stupid is, stupid does, life is like a box of chocolate. Those don't resonate with me, but there are a few that are really underlying that I think are a perfect way to describe everything. When he says, I don't know if we each have a destiny or if we're just floating around accidental, like on a breeze, but I think maybe it's both. Maybe both is happening at the same time. That is kind of how I choose to live life.
It's
of
the feather.
Like,
That's what it is.
there is a destiny, but also like it can be affected.
Yeah.
And I just love it, man. And Tom Hanks is incredible. I view this as like a Saving Private Ryan in my mind, where it's a great story, great acting, great impact, great people in it. I'm going to give it the exact same rating as Saving Private Ryan for me. I'm going to give it an 8.6.
Nice.
Josh Miller says, looking back on this movie with a modern eye is tougher than you would think. I've seen this movie a number of times over the last 2 decades, and each time I take away something new, a different feeling or a different vibe. A lot would have to do with my current state of mind. It's still a great movie. So much of it is done sharply. It's hard to say this is peak Tom Hanks because it's Tom Hanks, and I still think he's one of, if not the best actors of all time. That's not to say he hasn't been in bad movies, but it's not because of a bad Hanks performance. It's because the movie wasn't your cup of tea or the product had no chance of being great. The other performances were all so well done and so well acted. When you dislike someone in real life because of their performance as a person in a movie, that says a lot. I have a real life dislike of Robin Wright Penn simply because of how bad a person Jenny was and what she spent a lifetime doing to Forrest. But again, I know it's only a movie. Can you list a movie that's more culturally relevant today from the 90s? It's still quoted by more people than any other movie I can think of. I mean, hell, we got a restaurant based on a movie. And it's like it or not, I've eaten at worse places. Long story short, while some of the topics and points haven't aged perfectly as we are different society now, it doesn't take away from the movie's charm. If I actually met someone who hadn't seen it, I would tell them to go home now and watch it. My modern day score is an 8.4. So as a group, that's going to take us to an 8.29 as a group rating. Of all the movies we have done, an 8.29 is all alone in the 40th spot. We think that A League of Their Own, Die Hard, Donnie Darko, and RoboCop are better movies, but we think this is better than Jaws, Gladiator, and Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
Hey, it's gospel, Sean.
All right.
And remember, and that's our reminder to say we're going to do our re-ranking episode here real soon.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
We got to have one. We've been needing it.
Yep. Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for being here. Tune in next week. We begin May of Day, man. We got movies like The Talented Mr. Ripley, Rounders, Born Identity, The Parted, and much more. So join up, get ready for it. And if you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year, Days of Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Get you ready for that summer NASCAR season.
That's some fun stuff there.
Some fun stuff right there.
Yeah.
Thanks to Brian on the controls. We are here at Upload Media Group in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Learn more at uploadmediagroup.com and check out our network Cloud 10 at cloud10.fm. That's going to be it for us.
Yeah.
I think we should go.
Let's just go.
Okay.
We're going to go for a run.
Yeah, let's go for a run.
Let's go for a run.
From that day on,
All right.
where I was going, I was running.
I was running.
Kind of fun.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks again for listening, guys. We really appreciate it. Make sure you're checking us out on YouTube here in the studio, hanging out with us live and in person in the studs. Check us out on social media. Search for Confused Breakfast at Confused Breakfast anywhere on social media. And please leave us a review. 5 stars on any platform that you're listening on. Write us a comment on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. Write us a review. We love to read them.
Go to confusedbreakfast.com as well to see the merch that we have. You can see the shirts. We have new shirts up there. It's awesome. I believe it. You can go to confusedbreakfast.com as well to see the ratings of the movies that we have covered. You can see AJ's ratings. You can see Mike's ratings. And you can see my ratings and the show's ratings overall. Goodbye. I love you.
Thanks to Brian on the controls here at Upload Media Group. Learn more at uploadmediagroup.com and learn more about our network Cloud 10 at cloud10.fm. We love you so much. Go on to the next video.